The Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Russ with your SportsCenter update. First on The Fan, NBA Cup play finishes tonight with the championship game at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's a 5:30 tip on ABC. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 5 o'clock. The Thunder are 5-point favorites. The Trailblazers remain off until Thursday. That's when they host the Nuggets. Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams III back in the lineup, but DeAndre Ayton expected to be a game-time decision. The Blazers 8-18 on the season. That's the third worst mark in the West and sixth worst in the league. Over in the NFL, Lions edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson says he's aiming for a return for the Super Bowl should Detroit make it that far. He had October surgery to repair a fractured tibia and fibula. And we've got our first bowl game of the season this evening. Number 25 Memphis and West Virginia from Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. It's the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. 6 o'clock kick on ESPN. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Russ at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The home of prime time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan. This is Danny and Dusty.
Meringatang is going to be a thing.
You're not coining anything new.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
I'll throw some monkey sounds in there and call it good.
The old Danny meringue pie.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
The Fan.
Good afternoon. Hey, welcome in. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Dreary, rainy. Let's go. This is how it goes. Welcome.
Get used to it till like
Gotta keep it
June.
green. Gonna keep it green. Gonna keep it green. Well, it is Tuesday. It's NBA Cup Day.
Hey,
Yeah, NBA Cup
hot
Day.
cup action.
Yeah,
Yeah, as they refer to it on the morning show, it's a cup check.
a little cup check, huh?
Ooh, I like
Cup
it.
check.
I mean, people should care about this game. We'll talk about that today.
Should be a good game.
It should be.
Like you have two of the best teams in the league.
Also, the only game on the docket and no NBA games tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a little weird.
yeah. They should just get right back to it.
Yeah,
Like,
we don't need to have the break for
What are we doing
everyone
here?
else.
no.
Like if you want to make this the standalone game, that's fine.
Ooh. Where will attention be, though? Will it be on the NBA Cup or the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl?
Ooh,
but-
our first bowl already?
Oh, we had a bowl over
That's
the
what
weekend.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Was that the one that was on after Army Navy?
Yeah, Western Michigan
Yeah.
fell to the Jaguars of South Alabama in the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl.
So I'm guessing I should take out of my update then we've got our first bowl game of the season this evening. We've got our second bowl game.
Yeah.
Yeah, only second to the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. What is IS4S?
I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You call yourself a sportsman. I guess this is why they get bowls, huh? IS4S, it's Integrated Solutions for Systems. Oh. Okay.
Oh, so like some sort of like what? Pacific Office Automation, but on a bigger scale?
No,
no.
Jeff. It's a dynamic engineering and
Yeah.
management company supporting hundreds of government and commercial customers across the globe. Okay?
Yeah.
They're-
Silly me.
They're all in the southeast. Like it's Alabama. It's like 4 installations in Alabama, 4 in Florida, Georgia.
Yeah.
And they have one in they have one in Aberdeen, Maryland, which that's where a lot of
Yeah.
tech
Yeah, sure.
in the alphabet soup happens.
Yeah, sure.
That's the Social Security office
Whoa.
and the finance center.
I feel like
That's way off.
I feel like this is something that you shouldn't Google, but it says people also search for IS4S Splunk. That doesn't sound like something you should be Googling.
Or Fournier.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, it's for
definitely
work
there.
purposes, so I'm going to do it. Insights Suite for Splunk. Still don't know what it is, but it's not popping up.
Splunk doesn't sound good. That
No.
sounds like a genre on a website that
Well,
nobody should really be checking out.
Splunkbase.com comes up, which isn't helping, but it appears that things are on the up and up with this. I'm not quite sure what it means, but that's what they do. And they gave us the first bowl of bowl season. All right. No Urban Dictionary entries.
So thanks.
Yeah. Yep. The second bowl game starts today, though. Memphis, West Virginia. How many Rich Rod sightings do we have at this game?
Right.
In Frisco, Texas. I'm going to say we get 3. 3 of them. 3 Rich Rod sightings.
I like it.
They're going to put them on camera 3 times. Maybe we even get one of the, hey, the new head coach is here. We're going to interview him. This surely won't be awkward at all.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing weird about that whatsoever.
Rich Rod being back at West Virginia also it's my favorite hire of the offseason.
Caught me totally off guard. I didn't see it until yesterday. I missed it when we were in D.C.
Well, he sued West Virginia
Yeah,
when
when
he left.
You typically, places that you sue don't usually bring you back and give you more money.
Well, I think they've taken a long look at it and they've said, wait a minute.
He was good here.
We haven't won since he was here. We're going to bring him back. Let's bring him back. So Rich Rod is back at West Virginia. We got that bowl game tonight. That's going head to head. That's going head to head with the NBA Cup championship. 5:30 tip in Vegas for Bucks Thunder. 6 o'clock kick on ESPN, Memphis and West Virginia in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Scooters Coffee?
Never heard of Scooters Coffee.
I feel like that'd be like Dutch Bros being like, dude, it's Dutch Bros Portland Bowl, bro.
Well, no, that's kind of what I heard. I don't remember if it was with Swag or Jake the streamer outside, but they basically said, yeah, it's like a Texas version of a Dutch Brothers, or almost like a
100%.
Tim
It
Hortons.
genuinely is. It says as of June of this year, the chain has 800 franchises in 29 states.
Hot damn.
So
They can't get into the Northwest, though. There's no way there's a Scooters in Oregon or Washington.
And here's the thing. They were founded in 98, so they quite literally are just like Dutch Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that? All right. Oh, okay. On their Wikipedia page, as of July 24, Scooters has over 800 locations across 29 states, making it the second largest drive-through coffee chain in the United States behind Dutch Brothers.
Hey.
How about that?
And the thing is, Dutch Brothers isn't in nearly as many states.
Yeah.
But boy, are they dominating Oregon, Washington.
All right.
I'll tell you what, they're all over Idaho too.
Yeah,
at least the greater Boise, Nampa metropolitan area.
I'm here for it. Let's get the movement started for the Dutch Bros Grants Pass Bowl. Huh?
There we go.
Bring them down to the beautiful Rogue Valley.
Okay, so
they can take a nice winter trip on the jet boats.
950 locations for Dutch Bros.
Oh, hey, all right.
18 states.
Damn.
So
saturation.
18.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's actually that's hitting the over for me. I would have said like 12. I definitely would not have had 18 states on there.
Damn.
Yeah, nor would I. I would have
Times
had
are
like,
good.
well, our 3 right here.
Times are good. Like the 3, like around
Oregon,
the
Washington,
block.
and Idaho. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I could definitely would have gone with Utah and Nevada as well for sure.
Okay.
Am I the only one that
I
thinks
would have put
that
those in there too.
a coffee joint called Scooters is kind of a setting perhaps your day off on the wrong track?
No.
'Cause
Why?
Considering how many people's bodies react to coffee and caffeine early in the morning. Scooters,
Yeah. You scooting to the bathroom with the little clinch.
you know,
Yeah.
Interestingly enough,
get those guts moving.
looking at the this is the AI overview because Google's every stupid pushback now is like or search results is like AI driven. It says they have 3.7 locations in Idaho.
Okay. See, this is the thing.
It's so dumb.
New Google sucks.
I had the meme that I showed you when we were
Yeah.
in DC. It's like comparing and contrasting old Google versus new Google.
Yeah.
Old Google was search for X, get results.
Yeah.
That's all you got. You got the results. Now you
That's
get
right.
the generative AI, the sponsored results that it's like if you scroll through like the sponsored results on some things is the entire page. Like
Yeah.
before
it's
you
terrible.
get to like do an action, I was like, new Google sucks.
And they're wrong a lot.
Yes. You can't use it's the generative AI result returns are worse than the Wikipedia returns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's yes.
Because the
Faux
Wikipedia
show.
is more often than not is relatively close. Perfect example of it being wrong. We had Joe Theismann on, and I asked him about his bio. Says he lives in Zom Hall. because I work with somebody who's part of the Zom family, and I have an ongoing Scotch bet on USC Notre Dame. And so I asked him, hey, your bio says you live on Zom Hall. He's like, yeah, no, that's not right. It's like, oh. I can't remember what dorm he said he lived in, but again, even the Wikipedia, it's not on.
God, Wikipedia, come on, get it right. Know which dorm Joe Theismann lived in 60 years ago. What are we talking about?
Who's this Joe Theismann guy? I've only heard of Joe Theismann.
Joe Theismann. Yeah. Boy, you want to talk about big time backfires. Changed the pronunciation of his last name to try and win the Heisman and didn't win the Heisman.
Yeah.
Tough.
Ouch.
Like, that sucks.
Yeah.
They should have really made it.
He was
soft.
great,
They
though.
should have just made it a soft T. Just call him Joe Heisman.
Yeah, that's right.
Soft T.
Yeah, it's a silent T.
Soft.
Don't
T.
worry about it.
Soft.
He was great. I was surprised by old Joe Theismann.
Full disclosure,
Mhm.
I was brought up in a household that was taught to hate Joe Theismann. I don't know why, but my dad always had an axe to grind with him. He
Yeah.
did not like him
Well,
at all.
Well.
Probably because he went to Notre Dame.
okay.
But
I mean, yeah, easy to see from the USC person. Where did your dad get? Was he a USC man as
yeah,
well?
Yes. There you go. Big fan of the Navy.
Got to get my dig in when I
but-
can.
Even on broadcast, he's like, I don't like him.
Yeah.
It was always very like, and when I told you that before when we knew we had him, I was like, but when he sat down with us, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it really makes you think if you're on the wrong side of this rivalry.
I'm definitely not.
Definitely
not.
I'm not sure there's a right or wrong side
No,
of that.
no,
rivalry,
there's a
to
right
be honest
side.
with you.
yeah, that is true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point there. Our sales manager, Cooley, he told me a story of how they were down at the Super Bowl in Arizona one year, and he was there with his dad, and his dad was taking a leak, and Cooley and his family, big New York Giants fans.
Mm.
So Cooley's dad is taking a leak, and who strolls up next to him? None other than Joe Theismann himself. And Cooley's dad was wearing a Lawrence Taylor jersey.
Oh no!
And just kind of looked over at him and goes, well, this is awkward. How great is that?
When we had him on, he mentioned the whole idea of like what you need to do as a quarterback and slide and get down. He danced around the whole like getting hurt thing.
Yeah. What
And
about?
And I was like, "What? You mean that time when your leg exploded?"
What about leg injuries, Joe?
I got, I'm going to tweet this out right now. I got one of my favorite pictures from the weekend was pregame. I got a picture of the red shed that RG3. Remember when RG3 went into the red shed?
Yes, we walked on the field, and the first thing Dusty says to me, he goes, "RG3's red shed."
Yeah, it's the shed they took him into when he tore up his knee, and they're like, "Oh, he's getting it worked on." It's like, nah, that's not what's happening there.
Yeah.
They are putting a needle in that bad boy, and then he came back out and got hurt even worse.
Yeet.
Yeah. That was like a little piece of history I saw right there. All right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? At some point, I do need to discuss. I had my first incident with having to do like real parenting.
Oh,
That took a while.
Yeah, right?
wasn't a parent teacher conference?
You made it this far?
No. So each of the kids, they have like a little echo in their room.
Mm.
And because the internet has to, like Jeff Bezos wants to watch what they're doing.
Yeah,
at
no,
all
you,
times,
you,
right?
you've
Just
got
hear what's going on
you've got
there.
the integrated house.
Right.
Trust me, Jeff Bezos does not want to see what's going on in my house.
He does not.
No.
He does not.
No.
Well, kiddos are up and they're doing their little homework in their room, right? I go up to check on what's going on, and I open the door to my son's room. He's 7, almost 8. Open the door, and I'm like, whoa! Had to turn that bad boy off. I was like, what are you listening to? He's like, Kendrick Lamar. I was like, All right.
2 Live Crew.
It was not like us. So, yeah, I was like, whoa, buddy. I was like, okay,
Pop that what?
first thing first. What are we doing here? I was like, gee, like those songs aren't appropriate. You're 7. And he's like, what? It's just Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, I get it. So it was my first time. I was like, okay, gotta go in parental control things, right? Like, as my first thing of like, all right, I guess I have to do the parental controls. I'm like, how often do you listen to Kendrick Lamar? He's like, like every day. I was like, oh no. Ah!
Well, I'm going to hear it for this one.
Nope. I was like, this. I got this. I'm handling this. Parental controls have been
Installed?
handled. Dang, the things that I was like, didn't really think about that. Had to do it.
It's tough out here.
Yeah, it's hard in the streets, man, because you're like, oh, you always hated it when your parents would have to do that kind of stuff for you. But I'm on the other side of it now, and I'm like, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, we used to go get the cassettes and tapes with the parental advisory on them and just, put those to the side.
Well,
funny,
even
it
at
was
that
like-
time, it was like I mean, I wasn't. Everything is so accessible now. It was like I would go and try to buy those things, and parents would be like, "Come on, no, what are you thinking? No, like you're 10, stop."
Yeah. See, like,
But I think I was like 11 or 12. But I think like 7,
Nope.
especially with like a song like "Not Like Us," where he's gonna be like, "What's a pedo?" I'm like,
See,
you know,
I
don't want these questions.
Coming around the corner going, A minor.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I was in junior high listening to some the good old the Pop That P and those guys.
yeah,
And
Two Live
yeah,
Crew, yeah.
Two Live Crew, yes. And that's right when the parental advisory label first started to come out.
Yeah.
Was my junior high days, 7th, 8th grade,
See,
something
that-
like that.
That was like
Thank
you
you,
know,
Chipper Gore.
the one song that my mom took issue with when I was a kid was Bone Thugs and Harmony, Ouija, Are You With Me? I mean, at no point, like there was, like it was gangster rap. It was like, yeah, well, whatever. Don't say those words. Okay. I was like 12 years old. My mom kicks in the door. What is going on? The Catholic in her really came out at that moment.
yeah.
Like it was like Ouija board. And I was like, it's a song. And she's like, as long as you're not doing it, don't do it. I'm like, what?
Did you ever do one of
What's
those?
this lady? Yeah, they didn't work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. we
I never did one.
we all knew what friend was moving that thing around. It's like, all right. And you're speaking to the dead, right? There's nobody for us to be speaking to.
Right?
We didn't know anybody that
Who-
died.
You didn't know anybody who died yet?
Yeah, no, it's like, whose grandma's gonna be coming through on this one?
Oh no, we had some junior high, late elementary school even. We had some wicked Ouija board tales.
I bet you did.
Talking with our friend down the street whose dad had died previously, and told us we were talking to him. We asked him where he was, and then he said Baxter, which was my cat's name. And right after that, all of a sudden, Baxter walked up to the back sliding glass door and sat down and stared at all of us.
That's creepy.
Yeah, we got on our bikes and we rode the hell out of there super fast.
See you later, bye.
Our little 12-year-old butts.
Where'd you go? You were at home, Rust.
Yeah, we rode out there and we rode our bikes down to good old McMillan Park.
Oh, so go to a dark park at nighttime.
No, this was in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well lit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get this show going, shall we? All right. 503-864-6326. That's the Vancouver Ford text. Hey, it's already popping off and lighting up right now. Splunk is a tech thing. We know that now. So get your head out of the gutter. That was directed at me.
Well, and me.
And really anybody who heard that word and was like, don't think that sounds right.
Yeah.
Don't think that sounds
Bad
right.
genre.
It's not. That ain't it, boss. We had a Monday night double dip last night, and we may have one of the best stories in football that we're not really talking about all that much. Under the radar next on The Fan. The Minnesota Vikings have improved to 12-2 and quietly have the best record in the NFC. They went out, they were fired out to a hot start and really have not slowed down.
They had the one slip up. Really.
They had back-to-back losses after starting 5-0, and everybody's like, "Whoa, Sam Darnold, let's go!" They lost to the Lions, lose to the Rams, which now you look at them like, two pretty decent losses to have.
And you lost the
back-to-back
Lions
weeks.
on a last-second field goal. And the Rams game was kind of a weird game.
Well, yeah. Well, all Rams games are weird.
Right.
They play teams.
They play teams tight.
Well, but they make weird fights out of them, and they're all different. Like, I don't know. That's maybe just a sign of a really well-coached team. Ding, ding, ding.
Turned out McVay pretty good.
But they lose to the Lions, they lose to the Rams, and then since then, they've done nothing but rattle off 7 straight wins, including last night on Monday night, in their all-whites. Great look. Great look. And here they are at 12-2 in the best record in the NFC, second best record in the entire NFL. And it just seems like nobody really wants to give them the credit. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they are second in their division, technically speaking, because they don't have the tiebreaker with the Lions, even though they do have a matchup looming with them. But I think there's the aspect that in Philly, the other team that is 12-2 and tied with the best record in the NFC, there's so much drama, so many conversations going on around them, that the Vikings have had like this blessing of just being able to fly under the radar and just chip away and progressively get better. But you're looking at a team that Brian Flores defense is still absolutely incredible. When you think of the fact that they've only allowed 252 points, that's the second fewest points in the entire NFC. But I think this also lends to the fact that they're flying under the radar. They're not leading in really anything right now, right? They don't score the most points. They don't allow the fewest points, but they're just really consistent and damn good at everything that they're doing right now.
I think you highlighted the thing when you're talking about the Rams of a really well-coached team.
Yeah. Flores is great. Kevin O'Connell is
great.
Absolutely outstanding as a head coach and a play caller. He has done a phenomenal job. And here are the Minnesota Vikings with Sam freaking Darnold, which nobody picked them to win that division. Nobody picked that. I think they were picked to be like dead last by a lot of people because of the improvements that the Bears had made, right? And then you add on to the fact no Kirk Cousins, but the addition by subtractions of Kirk Cousins is you had a quarterback that was not elite that you were paying an elite number to. You then paid Sam Darnold on the cheap, have a rookie waiting in the wings in J.J. McCarthy who gets hurt, and all of a sudden you're able to pay other guys on that roster.
I mean, you look at
useful.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Darnold's production. He's 5th in the NFL in touchdown passes. He's 6th in yardage. The guys that are in front of him are the Burrows, Jacksons, Goffs, and Allens. That's it.
Yeah.
Like it's the MVP candidates, then Sam Darnold.
Yep. And they've been able to do it through injury too. I mean, they've had a bunch of injuries kind of rack up and over the course of the year, but they're getting guys back, right? They at the beginning of the year, it was, Jordan Addison out. It was there. You had their Hawkinson, the tight end, out. And you're like, oh, well, how are they going to be able to keep this up throughout the course of the year? Sam Darnold's going to turn into a pumpkin. He's not, because Kevin O'Connell is a really damn good coach. And now, buckle up. Remember who they have waiting in the wings there, Daniel Jones. Just pick him up off the scrap heap. I think that may be his masterpiece if he turns that one around. But people were saying the same thing about Darnold, too, right? It's like, what? They don't have a quarterback, so there's no way they can be that good. They're quietly... They should be regarded as one of the best stories in football right now.
And they should because of the moves that they made.
Yep.
And we talk about making the move for Darnold. That's going to get a lot of attention. Obviously, getting a move and going and get Aaron Jones. Like, you take a look at just kind of what they did, and they kind of, in a weird way, and stay with me here, they kind of went the path of the Green Bay Packers. Of like, they got their quarterback, and it's obviously like an in-house kind of guy that they've only had 3 of them over 50 years kind of a deal. But like they said, hey, this is our quarterback, but here's how we're going to build out around him. And they went and got a Packers running back. Like in the same thing the Packers went and did when they went and got Josh Jacobs. They knew kind of what they wanted to do and how they wanted to support Jordan Love. And the Vikings, I think, kind of went and did the same thing on defense. You look at the way that defense is built. Where's the weakness in that defense? Are they really weak anywhere?
No, they're just
solid,
steady and consistent. Like Green Bay's doing it with like rookies too, like Evan Williams, the former Duck, who's been really consistent and great for them. Yeah,
but just like you make smart moves, not splashy moves. Like, and I know it's like one of those things. Like, oh yeah, this is easy to do, blah blah blah. But no, like Darnold could have blown up in their face, but it also kind of goes to show you like he's the one out of like every 15 second chance quarterbacks that puts it together, right? Yeah. It could have easily not worked. But it did, and it worked because of all the other things that you did around him.
What's crazy about what they are doing, too, is like it's not like they struck gold in the draft this year, and those guys are popping, too.
No.
Right? J.J. McCarthy, who they selected 10th overall, he is injured reserve, hasn't played a game all year long. Dallas Turner, who they took with the 17th overall pick. Good to have 2 first-round picks, by the way. He's only got 15 tackles on the season. Edge rusher, right? He's got 2 sacks on the season. They're the third pick that they had in their draft where you expect, all right, this guy could be a role player. They had 2 first-round picks, and they didn't select again until the 4th round, where they took Kyrie Jackson, who tragically died in a car accident over the summer.
Yeah.
And
there's a guy that they're counting on.
Those are guys that you say, all right, yeah, we could get this guy as a role player. It's very similar to what Evan Williams is doing in Green Bay, right? You get these... So it wasn't like they knocked it out of the park, and they have these rookies that are shining too. They went through and they went into free agency. They were very, very selective and good. And remember, they basically pulled a swapsies with the Texans. Danielle Hunter goes to Houston, and then Jonathan Grenard goes, all right, fine, I'll go up to Minnesota.
And Grenard has been fantastic, and Van Ginkel has been fantastic.
They go and they get Aaron Jones from Green Bay. Like, they were smart with the money that they had to spend because they didn't have the anchor of Kirk Cousins' salary weighing them down. And talk about the right time to get off of a contract. Kirkers ruptures his Achilles, and he has not been the same guy. And last night, he was not good either in a win over the Raiders, which that looked even worse. If you're talking about 2 coaches that are first-year coaches that might get canned, Antonio Pierce and Gerard Mayo, both of our teams may be looking for new coaches next year because they are regressing in the worst way possible, looking underprepared and not ready to play.
I'd be stunned if Pierce is back.
Yeah. So, I think this Vikings story is outstanding, and it could get even better because of what we talked about yesterday with what's happening to the Detroit Lions. And there is news on the Detroit Lions. I got 2 pieces of news for you today because I am inspired. I am ready to run through a wall because of what Dan friggin' Campbell said in his weekly interview today. Danny and Dusty, here's Rust, and he's got Sports Center.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys into whom you can place your trust. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on The Fan, NBA Cup play finishes tonight with the championship game at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. 5:30 tip on ABC. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 5 o'clock. The Thunder are currently 5-point favorites. The Trailblazers remain off until Thursday. That's when they host the Nuggets. Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams III back on the court, but DeAndre Ayton expected to be a game-time decision. The Blazers are 8-18. That's the 3rd worst record in the West and 6th worst in the league. Over in the NFL, Lions edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson, he says he's aiming for a return for the Super Bowl should Detroit make it that far. Hutchinson had October surgery to repair a fractured tibia and fibula. We've got our second bowl game of the season this evening. Number 25 Memphis and West Virginia from Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. It's the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. 6 o'clock kick on ESPN. And Oregon State men's basketball in action tonight, hosting Sacramento State. That's a 7 o'clock tip on ESPN Plus. Kevin, the Orange O guy. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's the Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
All right, I have mixed emotions today about my Detroit Lions. Such a damn fun team to watch. Love Dan Campbell. Love Jared Goff being like anti-Dan Campbell in almost every way possible. You know, he's like laid back Calibro. Campbell is, played at Texas A&M, Mr. Intensity.
Campbell's not.
The style of play with Ben Johnson's offense is just fun as hell. Their defense flies around, hat on hat. Like, we talk about the Lions' defense and how great they are. They have allowed 30 more points this season than the Minnesota Vikings have. And we don't talk about the Vikings nearly as much as we should.
No, it's style.
Yeah. But
it's not as sexy.
The amount of injuries that this Lions defense has gone through is absolutely incredible. 29 different players starting, 7 guys injured, 7 starters injured on that defense for Detroit. The way that they're able to just keep it together and keep it rolling is something that is pretty incredible. And it's impressive, too. What I love even more is that on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit today, Dan Campbell went on and he inspired me and everybody else out there. Don't give up on these Lions.
Look, I don't. You know what happens is, you win 11 in a row, and you lose, and then the sky falls. And I hate to say it, but we're not going to be able to win 11 in a row again for the rest of this season. We're just not going to be able to do it. And, what happens is you get used to eating filet, and I'm talking to all of us, and everything's good. Life's good, but you forgot what it was like when you had nothing and you ate your molded bread. and it was just fine, and it gave you everything you needed. And sometimes you got to get punched in the mouth and remember what it used to be like to really appreciate where you are, and we'll do that. And so we got a bad taste in our mouth. We got kicked around the other day. We lost a few guys, and you know what? It's exactly what we needed. This is exactly what we needed. So we're going to bounce back. We're going to respond. We got guys that are about to have an unbelievable opportunity here, and we will play the game any way needed to win. We still got a good offense. We got plenty of defensive players. I can go rattle them off right now. We're going to put the best 11 on the field. We're going to freaking cut it loose. We're going to play with our special teams. And I don't give a crap if we got to win by 1 point for the rest of the year. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to be happy about it. We come out of the game with 50 yards of total offense and we win by 1, you're going to see smiles on my face, I promise you. All right? If it's the other way defensively, we give up 700 yards and we win by 1 point, you're going to see a smile from my ear to ear. All right? I can promise you. So we're going to find a way, and we're going to get it done.
What a legend. I love that from Dan Campbell because it's just like we talk about during college football season, right? Winning at the end of the year is really hard. And it doesn't have to be pretty. You just have to get through it, right? And that's what he's talking about. What I don't think we realize about this Lions team, they've only played 14 games this year. It is the most wins the Lions have ever had in the regular season in their franchise's history.
Is that good?
They've still got 3 games to play.
Although also saying that you can't win 11 games in a row this year, again, that sounds like quitters talk.
Right. Well, it's statistically impossible because of the fact that, like, the max they could play is 7.
Quitters talk.
He's just Dan Campbell. He wound up and boy, he let loose. I'm like, yeah, okay, they're gonna definitely keep winning like a game or 2 this year. Like they're gonna do it because they will play for that guy, and I love that about Dan Campbell. The problem is that talk is gonna not get you very far. When you look across the board and you're playing, I don't know, the Philadelphia Eagles in the AFC or NFC Championship game.
Anybody who's not as battered as you are.
If you are playing that Minnesota Vikings defense in the divisional round of the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you are matched up with some of those teams, like that is when it gets hairy and it gets gnarly and you start to see how much you miss that top end talent. But I love Dan Campbell for saying that. And going on the radio, just like the guys in Detroit after the first F-bomb, just like, yeah, we're just going to keep this going.
Yep.
No, nobody heard that first one.
Nope, keep it rolling.
And then he goes in, boom, another F-bomb. He's just talking ball.
Yeah.
He's just a passionate guy. FCC shouldn't get mad at that station.
No.
I mean, come on. It's like Big Papi. I mean, totally different because I was after the Boston Marathon bombings.
Yeah.
And he said, this is our effing city. And that was great.
As opposed to the bombing of their injury report.
Yeah, their injury report. I mean, it's not great for their roster.
But their injury report could get better?
Yeah, because this was great. Didn't know that this was a thing, but Taylor Lautner has a podcast.
Team Werewolf.
Yeah, the werewolf from
Twilight.
Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
The guy who played the coach in Sean Payton's movie that Kevin James was in.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
He's also, his name is Taylor Lautner. He's also married to a Taylor.
Ooh.
Taylor and Taylor.
I don't know if
Or-
you can do that.
He goes by Taylor. She goes by Tay.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, Tay Tay.
Tay. Well, Aiden Hutchinson was on that podcast and broke news.
Just I'm on track for my goal of returning for the Super Bowl. And so I keep telling all the boys when I see him in the facility, I'm like, you guys just got to get there. And I promise you, I'm going to be back, you know? And I tell people that. My mom was like, I remember we were talking yesterday and she's like, but Aiden, like what if you don't get back? Like what if you can't? And I was like, there's no other way.
Oh, Lions are back. Those 2 clips on the same day come out. Lions are back. Lions are definitely back. I'm in.
I mean,
We're cashing this ticket. They're in.
I'm happy that he's on track and he's ahead of this and all those things. Like, brother, don't.
That was the conservative timeline for a guy returning from that surgery. Because think of how early he got injured. That's 3 months. That's 3 months, 12 weeks.
We saw the same thing with Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah.
It took him a year and a half.
He's a basketball player.
Paul George, we saw this and it took him a year and a half. Like,
Aiden Hutchinson's going to do it. He's going to be playing the Super Bowl.
Look, and the whole idea, like, it comes back stronger, blah, blah. You're not worried about the bone. You're worried about the atrophy, the lack of strength and stability and everything. Like,
did you not hear Aiden Hutchinson, Danny?
it's like,
Come on, have a little faith.
look, man.
He's going to do it.
It-
Look at you, Downer Debbie, today. We're trying to bring the Lions
Well,
fans
the
up.
Lions, I mean, they're clearly they're making the PR push right now because things aren't going great.
We're
Like,
making the Lions betters feel happier.
right, but like
The future.
I would love
needs
for him to come
cash.
back. It would be a hell of
Yeah.
a story. But like, brother, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, he can just Willis Reed it. You come out, you go through the motions. Willis Reed didn't have a great game.
I mean, the one time this has happened where there's somebody came back in from a freakish injury,
Yeah.
that they were like, yeah, no, he was that good. It was AP.
Yep.
When Adrian Peterson came back from a torn knee in under 6 months, that was just like, I'm sorry, what?
Freak.
Not only did he come back, he came back and didn't he? Wasn't
can
that the
do all-
next
you
year?
can-
He
you can
ran
do-
for like 1,600 yards.
Yeah. Well, he almost got to 2,000.
Was that season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the most insane injury comeback I think we've ever seen. He's like one of one in that regard.
Well, I think what we're saying here is that
Aiden Hutchinson is the new version.
no, that's not what I was going to say. Is that the performance-enhancing drugs aren't tested when you're injured in the NFL?
Heyo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're saying here in this. Inspiring day though, and I
Oh,
love
look,
Dan,
Detroit,
I love
stand
Dan
up.
Campbell. I love Dan Campbell.
I mean, after you look at the performance this weekend and how things went and more injuries. You got a guy with a broken jaw, a guy with a torn knee. Like, it's just piling up. Yeah, it's not a bad idea to get a little bit of good news.
No, I will not believe your slander that this is a PR attack. This is not a PR campaign. This is
I'm sure that there's nothing remotely coordinated about this at all.
no. This is boys being boys.
Yeah.
Look at that cynical mind. Don't give me that cynical mind.
Hands up.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Let us have our happiness, huh? Let's have our happiness. Can we do
Vancouver
that?
Ford text line. Is there a Super Bowl combo that'd be better than Detroit and Buffalo?
Nope.
Can't think of one. No,
No.
that is the best one.
No doubt.
We had this discussion when we were in DC at the sports bar. The Browns fans next to us, we were kind of going back and forth. I brought that up, and they kind of went, "Yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of one thing you cheer for." And we talked about it in the line on the way to get to the plane. And the same thing came up both times. Buffalo can't afford to lose another Super Bowl.
No, if they get to a Super Bowl and they lose another, that city just may give up on football.
Might just give up on America.
Yeah, well,
Just go to Canada.
maybe. I mean, they're pretty close.
I mean, it's doable.
We're not giving up Niagara Falls though.
We'll just get. Well, I mean, we could
Just go
give
around
Buffalo to
the
Canada
stadium.
when we make Canada the 51st state.
Just go. Wow.
Just saying,
All right.
According to President-elect, Canada's already a state.
Yeah, that's right.
we're getting there.
That's right.
It's in a state, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, as is most of the world.
A better one than us here.
All right. Let's get to. We got a lot that we got to get to today.
We got lots.
Yeah. What's going on in Alabama? Have you seen
Oh.
this? This is not good.
Mm.
Not good one bit. And Phone Nick Saban is even chiming in.
Mm.
Danny and Dusty on the Fan. The transfer portal in college football continues to hit, and boy, it is hammering some teams worse than others. You had today SMU's coach, Rhett Lashley, as they're getting ready for a trip to Penn State, going to State College to play the Nittany Lions in the first round of the playoffs. And he said that they have several players that are getting ready for a playoff game and being contacted to go and transfer to other places. Lashley said, I feel so awful for our kids and kids around the country. There's no other sport at all that has free agency in the season. It's sad. It's terrible. You hear the story about the backup quarterback saying, I don't have a choice. That's wrong. That's unacceptable. That's not okay. He shouldn't have to make that decision. And he's right. And the backup that he's talking about is Bo Perbula at Penn State, which we talked about yesterday. Like, they are in a playoff run right now, and he had to go and do it. He had to enter the portal because opportunities are going to go away if he doesn't, because there's not going to be any teams. He wants to go to a desirable location for him to thrive and play football and also get paid. But there's other teams that are getting hit particularly hard, and Alabama is one of them. That miss in the college football playoff, it may be more detrimental than we even initially thought, because Kalen DeBoer's squad, there were a lot of guys that came back because they got Kalen DeBoer from Washington. Nick Saban was still tangentially a part of, the Alabama athletics program as an advisor. There were guys that wanted to stick around. They have now 22 players have entered the portal.
That seems like a lot.
That is a ton. 4 of them are defensive linemen. And you already have one that has committed to Colorado in Jaheim Otis. And then you have Damon Payne, who entered the portal. Those are big players that you're going to be missing. 4 defensive linemen, and they've had 5 wide receivers enter the portal too. And there's growing concern, apparently, that Ryan Williams, the phenom freshman, is going to be entering the portal as well at Alabama. And so all of this, they got the number 2, they got the number 2 recruiting class in the country. Things were looking on the up and up. Things were going to be okay with Kalen DeBoer taking over for Nick Saban. Here are the guys that have entered the portal. Former 5-star running back Justice Hayes. Former 5-star corner Jalen Mbapwe. 4-star defensive lineman Jaheim Otis. Former 4-star quarterback Dylan Longring. Former 4-star receiver Kendrick Law. Former 4-star receiver Caleb Odom. Former 4-star offensive tackle Miles McVay. Here's a lot of guys leaving this Alabama program right now. And look, the hard part is you don't know which ones are being de-recruited by their own staff.
Sure.
And which ones are just bailing because they don't like the direction that the ship is heading in.
Which is kind of funny when you consider the way the ship is heading is if they'd not screwed up one game, would have been the college football playoff.
But the losses to Vandy, getting routed by Oklahoma, like those are big losses. And now that loss against Oklahoma, it looms even larger, right? Because you're going, what the heck is going on there? Where were guys already trying to jockey for their position out of town, and kind of you lose that locker room, and which is not anything that has ever been associated with Kalen DeBoer before, right? Like, he is a damn fine coach.
Yeah.
We saw it.
Yes.
At Washington. We saw it at Fresno State.
Yeah.
He knows how to coach, but it's always like, the Dan Lanning quote, grass is pretty damn green in Eugene. Sometimes you go somewhere else, and we've seen this with college coaches time and time again, where you go to a new place and the same formula doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of, like, leaving Alabama for Colorado?
Yeah,
like
that's where Otis went, is to Colorado.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's... I don't know how you can see how the grass is greener other than if you're talking about, like, the literal grass. Like, what about Colorado? Like, the 2 best players on that team are gone.
Yeah.
Like, what? How is going to Colorado going to help you? Like, what is the thing that, unless you're from the region, like, unless you weren't getting playing time, like, I don't know why you leave Alabama to go to Colorado. That is a weird choice.
That grass is green in Colorado too.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah, man.
That's what I was. You're picking up what I was putting down.
Yeah, man.
Look, I mean the grass in Alabama, I would call it dirty.
Well, I would say this though about you talk about cultural shift from what Alabama was built on, why those guys had committed there. That was still the culture of Nick Saban, which was defensive minded, defensive oriented, NFL developmental. And that's not to say that Kalen DeBoer did not develop guys to the NFL, because look at how many of those guys did. But where were their high draft picks at? They were on the offensive side of the football. And so you have guys like Otis, who he goes to Colorado. Who's the defensive line coach at the University of Colorado? Warren Sapp, right?
Which, whether he's a good coach or not, don't know.
Connection is
yes.
huge. And I think we're seeing that across the landscape of college football, because there's one thing in the college football playoff that is really standing out. And we'll get to that next, because the tides are a-turning in the world of college football. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Red Tail Golf Center's holiday sale going on now. Up to 50% off all your holiday golfing needs. Red Tail Golf Center, where we guarantee the lowest holiday prices. Visit us at golfredtail.com. First on the Fan, NBA Cup play finishes this evening. The championship game at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. 5:30 tip on ABC. Coverage over on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 5 o'clock. The Thunder are 5-point favorites. The Trailblazers, remain off until Thursday. That's when they host the Nuggets. Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams III back on the court, but DeAndre Ayton expected to be a game-time decision. The Blazers 8-18 on the season, the third worst record in the West and sixth worst in the league. Over in the NFL, Lions edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson says he's aiming for a return for the Super Bowl in February should Detroit make it that far. Hutchinson had October surgery to repair a fractured tibia and fibula. We've got our second bowl game of the season this evening. Number 25 Memphis and West Virginia from Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. It's the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. 6 o'clock kick on ESPN. And Oregon State men's basketball in action tonight, hosting Sacramento State. 7 o'clock tip on ESPN+. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
This is your home for year-round NFL coverage. The Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan. Danny Meringue.
And then I went to this movie theater. Then I made a noise like this.
Dusty Hera.
Then this was horrible. All the people started getting sick and throwing up all over each other.
I'm beginning to like this kid much.
This is Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and Portland's sports leader, 1080. The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for being part of our day, letting us be a part of yours, whether that is on 1080 AM, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, twitch.tv/1080am The Fan, or right there on the YouTubes, youtube.com/1080am The Fan. All of you sickos that ride on the YouTube app, thank you. We love you.
They're a pack of sickos in there.
Y'all are great. And I love having you all a part of my day. All right. Okay. We were talking about the portal, how it giveth, it taketh, and it's an interesting time in the world of college football right now, and it seems to be escalating, and it may be escalating a little bit more with the writing being on the wall of a salary cap coming in the world of college sports, right? I saw Ross Dellinger had an article up today about Texas Tech has outlined how this is going to pay out, what the payouts are going to look like at Texas Tech. Kirby Hocutt, he has detailed their distribution of the $20.5 million in a revenue share in college football. $15.1 million would go to football. That's 74%. $3.6 million would go to men's basketball. That would be 17.5% there. So you're looking at, just by those two sports, 90% of that 20.5 is going to be going to football and men's basketball. Makes sense. They fund 90% of sports.
Yeah, I mean, the math is there for everybody to kind of see. It's not something that's all that difficult to understand.
Women's basketball would be getting $410,000. Baseball would be getting $390,000. All other sports at Texas Tech going to be getting $920,000 as part of their cap. And moving forward, that is what it was kind of going to look like. So if you have a hard cap that's going to be instituted, I wonder how many of these guys are going to be getting the guidance of, dude, hit the portal now, because the paydays are going to be vastly different moving forward, right?
Get it while you can.
If you're talking about the John Mateer, who is rumored to be getting between $3 and $3.5 million as an offer from Oklahoma, right? And that's just a rumor that's out there. Yeah, sorry, if there's only $15 million to be split in the revenue share, you're not getting $3.5 million, right?
Yeah, that's 20% of your revenue share.
Landscape is going to change dramatically on how rosters are built. Now, that doesn't mean that NIL won't be a part of things moving forward, but
this is the chunk from the school that's visible. It doesn't necessarily tied through the NIL stuff.
Yeah, final approval, by the way, on House versus the NCAA will be on April 7th. A judge did say that today.
They put the date out.
So that's an interesting note there. But we don't know how a lot of these landscapes will be changing across college football. So you see a lot of guys that are entering the portal right now. And then there's schools that are traditionally power schools that are losing an inordinate amount of guys. We just talked about Alabama. Well, USC's another one, right? I mean, USC, everybody's out at USC because Zachariah Branch just entered.
Both the branches, Zachariah Branch and his brother, both just entered the portal, and that is now...
Is that his brother Tree?
Yeah. Every 5-star Lincoln Riley has recruited has left the program.
Yet 9 of the 12 top 100 recruits to sign with Lincoln Riley have transferred.
Yep.
things are not going well
No.
at USC.
Look, Branch was one they thought they were going to keep.
And my thing with Lincoln Riley is it just seems like, and this is it right here, is what we're seeing in this transition in the world of college football is the dynamic head coach you have to be now.
Yeah.
You can't just be a wizard anymore.
No, and beyond that, it's, there was this belief that the collective was starting to get things under control, but I mean, you'd have to believe at this point in time that's not the case.
Too many cooks in the kitchen, brah.
Yeah, which was and has been a problem for the last couple of years. But, it's one of those things where you look at it and it's like, if you don't get your head wrapped around this very quickly, you will find yourself on the outside looking in, regardless of how much money you have.
But I think you can also look at the coaches in the college football playoff right now. 12 coaches in the college football playoff. Okay. Dellinger had this, Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports had this. 8 of the college football playoff head coaches are under 50. 5 of them under 42. There is the youth movement in college football, but I think if you kind of parse through that and you dive into that a little bit further, right? Steve Sarkisian is 50 years old on the dot. So 9 of the 12 are 50 or younger. The only guys over 50 years old are Curt Cignetti, who's 63, Dabo Swinney, who's 55, and James Franklin, who's 52.
And again, I mean, the only one in there who's really old is Cignetti.
Yeah.
God, Sark's really 50? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
I mean, they were the Wonder Trust 25 years ago now.
When we are 40.
So, but this, if you look at it a little bit further than that, though, this is where the dynamic head coach comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Because think of these names, though, of the guys, and you tell me, just yes or no, are they dynamic or not? Kenny Dillingham.
Yes.
Okay. Spencer Danielson,
Yes.
Boise State. Dan Lanning.
Yes.
Marcus Freeman.
Yes.
Rhett Lashley at SMU.
He's a different bird. Yes.
Ryan Day.
Yes.
No.
No.
Who's of the 12? Who's the one on the chopping block?
Yeah, him.
Josh Heupel at
Yes.
Tennessee. Kirby Smart at Georgia. Here's the thing about Kirby Smart.
He's won recently.
The one thing, though, about Kirby Smart is that we don't look at him as like, oh, dynamic, young, outgoing personality, but probably one of the biggest anchors of Oregon's program, their pillars of it, is what they call get reels, right?
Yeah, which came
they took from Georgia, which is they call them the skull sessions there, where it is connectedness, learning each other at a deeper level, right?
Kirby's also the biggest whiner in college football now.
Sure is.
I mean,
but you know what? His dudes ride for him.
Yeah, they do. They ride for him right into telephone poles.
Yeah, and a little fast too. Steve Sarkisian, dynamic
cars.
Yep.
Yeah. Look,
James Franklin, whiner.
Yeah.
But he's a rah guy through and through.
For sure.
Dabo Swinney, you do not need to like him, but he is dynamic for the type of player that he wants at Clemson. And it's a different type of player than anywhere in college football. And they went to the portal. They got a guy from the portal.
And beyond that, before this, he did do it his way. He didn't go to the portal, and yet here he is still.
Yeah.
So there has to be a level of dynamism when you talk about. You can say what you want about Dabo. The dude gets it done.
All of these guys have personality, and like the oldest one in the bunch is Curt Cignetti, who literally tells people to Google him.
Yeah, and he might have the most personality of all of them.
So
public facing.
This is, and it's, I find it very interesting that like if you're talking about the guys that lack that personality that is attractive to young people especially, you're probably gonna put Ryan Day at or near the bottom. Okay. Ryan Day is the one coach who's on a hot seat. Spencer Danielson, I just don't think people know a whole lot about Spencer Danielson. He's not afraid to talk and just speak the truth at any given time.
And he doesn't do it without whining.
He may be pretty low on this list as well. And then you have Josh Heupel, which Josh Heupel is a young head coach, right? He's 46 years old, which is older than Ryan Day. Yeah.
What?
Wrap your head around that.
No
right?
way. I still remember Heupel playing.
Yeah. But do you remember the locker room conversation after the Oklahoma game? Right? The conversation after the Oklahoma game, and the fact that he may not be that guy, almost like in that Kirby Smart vein, that you don't realize the connectedness that he has with the team in general, but they're dynamic personalities.
That's crazy.
There's a reason why they're all really good at recruiting too, and it isn't just because of a bag. And this is the thing. If you think it is just a bag, you're woefully misinformed, because the bag isn't it. The bag opens the door. The bag can help you close the door. Recruiting is still built on relationships. And if you don't think that the bag opened the door and closed the door in the SEC for decades before NIL, you are just have your head buried in the sand. You really do.
Oh, man, we had Jones on when we were down on Radio Row, and he talked. He literally told us the money that Texas got him.
Yeah, he said he took a pay cut to go from UCLA to Texas, though, too, right? And by the way, Coach Donahue at UCLA, bag was there.
Yeah,
bag was there. But this is the thing: all of these coaches have that personality that is attractive, with the exception of Ryan Day. Right?
Yeah, God, him being 45 is upset of the century for me. I would have.
You thought he's like 100?
55. Well, I mean, 45 and dyeing your beard that heavy?
Hey,
come on,
natural.
dog.
It's natural. It's natural. But this is the thing about it. Lincoln Riley, that roster is turning over because I don't think that is there. And that was the criticism of people of him at Oklahoma too, right? Was like the people at Oklahoma were like, he is wickedly smart when it comes to X's and O's. He is wickedly smart when it comes to connecting with a quarterback and getting a quarterback to maximize his talents. But the Oklahoma folks are saying, hey, his ability to be that leader of men is where something was lost in the sauce with Lincoln Riley.
Mm-hmm.
9 of your 12 top 100 recruits leaving, that's a big indicator right there. And that's just, we go through this list, the 12 coaches that are in the playoff right now, they are all guys that have the dynamic personalities, and they are ones that are thriving in this new world of college football because it is so different. It's not the old school way of coaching anymore. And think about the teams that we were arguing for should get in, shouldn't get in. Right? Shane Beamer at South Carolina, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and then Kalen DeBoer, who is X's and O's, dynamite roster, incredible, really good team down there at Alabama. You know, that's why you're sitting there going, what is going on at Alabama? Like, we've seen Kalen DeBoer recently have wild success.
Yes. I can't really put my finger on it because you didn't hear about any issues at Washington. You didn't hear about issues at Fresno State.
Dude, all you heard was praise.
Yes.
The dude has been amazing.
So that's what makes my eyebrow raise up here is like, is this more on the other side? Is this on the business side? Is this on the collective side? Is that where there are issues? Are there too many cooks in the kitchen at Alabama? Because Nick Saban could just drop the hammer and just let the rings hit the desk and go, shut the bleep up.
Mm-hmm. Well,
DeBoer can't do that.
Cultural shift of guys that were recruited by Nick Saban and just the dynamic of the program.
Sure.
Right? I mean, it's like everybody rolled their eyes at it and laughed at it when the callers were calling in Feinbaum saying, he doesn't even tuck his shirt in, pow, pow. But at the same time, that almost militant regiment that they had at Alabama is what attracted some guys there. Because guess what? Again, recruiting still matters.
Yes.
Connection with the coach still matters. And it may not matter to some guys because they'll get a bigger bag somewhere. But how many guys have we seen in this transfer portal boomerang back around to places that they were going to go to and they ended up going somewhere else?
Because the money shifts.
Money shifts. And look, a lot of these guys realize not worth it.
No.
Not worth it. I'll still get a lot of money and go to
the place that you want to go to first. More often than not, the reason it attracted you was for reasons other than money.
It's crazy. This is interesting to kind of look at the state and landscape of college football.
It is.
And where it's at right now. We got a lot of feedback coming in on the Vancouver Ford text line. We'll get to some of that coming up. But also, we need to start diving into this NBA Cup game too. Huh? NBA Cup game. Get the championship.
Cup.
Danny Dusty on the Fan. 503-864-6326. That's the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes for their Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online, VancouverFord.com. We got a lot of texts coming in on this kind of changing landscape in college football, and this is a really good text here. It says, the idea of the dynamic personality in college football, right? The question still to be answered of how long can a coach remain a dynamic personality before burning out? Curious to see if top programs start turning over coaching talent every 4 to 5 years, given the new system. Like, that's an interesting kind of path and way to look at it. But I think that we can look at some of these guys that have had great success, and I think the way that head coaches are hired for sure is going to be changing. It's 100% going to be changing. I think what we're going to see, though, is more of the NFL model, which is it's not necessarily in the NFL is we're seeing this, like, you have to be a great leader too, right? You don't have to be the X's and O's guy necessarily, but if you can be a leader of men, and that looks so different in every coach and style. But the energetic and dynamic one, it means more in college because you have to recruit guys. You don't go and draft them like the NFL, where
you tell them where they're going to go.
Yeah, you say, no, you're coming here. You have to lure them.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, it's a weird business. Like, when luring and grooming are the two things that you are lauded for in college football.
Yeah, you're not
right. You lure them there, and then you groom them for the NFL. Like that.
Are we talking about the church?
Yeah, no, it's college football and it's college sports. It's luring and grooming. You're luring them to campus, and then you're grooming them for the professional ranks. I don't like the way that I said that, but it's true.
We're going to play that at your trial.
Trust me, that's the second least interesting trial out of the three of us.
Wow.
All right.
One of us is getting a documentary.
Yikes, dog. But will the turnover in coaching be more significant? I think at the lower ranks it will be, and that's always kind of been the case, right? You work your way up, and you get into a better job. But I think we can just look at, though. I mean, we were talking about the ages of all the coaches in the college football playoff. Like, Kirk Cignetti is 63 years old. That dude has more juice than Lincoln Riley, who's not even 40 yet.
And Kirk Cignetti was actually a little bit,
I guess
mildly breaking news. He was just named Coach of the Year.
Cignetti was?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. But Dabo Swinney, like, we don't have to like Dabo in the way his approach and the way he does it. He has his system, and he's committed to it, and he's still very passionate about it. He's still the guy at 55 years old who damn near takes a header every time he runs down that hill leading his team onto the field, right?
It's going to happen, right?
It's going to happen.
Right?
It's going to happen. Yeah.
I
hope that
it's a steep run.
I hope he reads the room well enough to where they bring back the helmet cart. Remember how they used to have the helmet cart, and he's just
mobbing that thing down there?
Yeah. And he leads the team driving down that hill. Right? You can't have a face mask on because that's steep incline. He'll end up, going face first and rolling that bad boy. But I think that there's going to be a lot of these guys that they do have the longevity and they can't stick around. Like, we're talking, it's crazy. Sark is 50. Lane Kiffin's just as old. Lane Kiffin, it's a connection with young people is the thing. And you don't need to have like this endless amount of energy. You just have to be able to connect to young people. Cignetti's doing it. Sark does it. Kiffin does a really good job of it. I think the younger coaches like your Dan Lannings, Kenny Dillingham's, Marcus Freeman's, they're going to be able to continue to do that as well.
There's nothing there that's going to, if anything, those guys are going to get better. We've seen them already kind of grow and adapt through things already.
Yeah.
Dillingham is kind of at the forefront of like the blessing, as it were, his transfers.
Mm-hmm.
He goes out of his way to be like, hey, somebody's getting themselves a good one.
Yep.
Somebody's getting themselves a great one. Hey, this is a real dude. He doesn't have to do that.
As they're getting ready for the playoff, and he's like, yeah, they can still play here. Like, I get it. I understand what's going on with them. Like, yeah, but they can play through the playoffs.
And
Like, that's fine.
And that's
It's crazy.
It's an interesting way to handle it.
Yeah.
Like, is it the right way? Is it the wrong way? I don't know, but it's the way he's chosen to go about it. And I don't think it's something that's necessarily going to come back to bite them.
Yeah. This text says, why is the media so obsessed with trying to put Day on the hot seat? He is not. Look, it's the Ohio State fan base that is doing it.
Yeah.
Mostly.
And when you
I've
beat
long
Michigan,
said I don't think he should be on the hot seat. Look at his record. But you know what? Not beating Michigan and not winning the big games in big moments, that is what has gotten Ohio State coaches fired in the past.
every one of them fired in the past.
And he has won big games. No doubt about it.
Sure.
Damn near won a national they would have won a national title. It was a field goal.
Mhm.
They lost to Georgia. Georgia went and rolled TCU. Ohio State would have done the exact same to TCU. They would have done it. But it's that, and those are like, that's the circumstances thing, right? Like, he can't control that. But at the same time, like, you rack up enough of them and your fan base gets sick of it.
And not only
there
that,
are unrealistic expectations at Ohio State. There's a few programs that have it. That's
I would agree that they are unrealistic expectations, but also I would say the realistic expectation is that you are there because they do. And I do believe literally any good coach would recruit at the level he's recruiting at that university.
No doubt. But you know what? It's unrealistic that it's more because they're there.
Yes.
They are they're recruiting top 5 every single
Yes.
year. They are having a seat at the table in just inches away from titles every single year.
But that's the problem is that
that's
they
where it's
are inches
unrealistic
away.
is that it should be, no, we're getting over that hump.
And look, had he gotten over the hump at any point in time in the last 5 years, you would not hear the noise that you have.
Faux show.
But you've not. Let's kind of put it back to Oregon. If Lanning had fallen short against Ohio State and fallen short against Penn State in the let's say somehow they make it to the Big Ten title game anyways.
Uh-huh.
The wave of like, oh, he can't win the big one after the Washington losses would have been overwhelming.
Yeah.
But he continued to do what he does, which is be aggressive on fourth downs. Nobody's talking about that anymore.
Nope. It works.
He continued to build his brand of football. He beat, the Ohio State team that came into Oregon. They went out there and they handled Penn State.
Did you just air quote the beat? You did this with your hands when you said he beat.
Oh, no, I mean,
you did the air quote. I was like, no, they did.
They won 1 point game. Like that's my point of like, it could have gone either way.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
But we've talked about this so many times. Victors, winners, they get to write the story.
Yep.
And if Ryan Day had just beaten somebody at some point in time when it mattered the most, if you win a title, the least that you get is infinite. It's not like Nick Saban won every title every single year.
No.
They had
He did
down
not.
years. They had down years. It happened. But when you win one and you get that monkey off your back, you were afforded when did Clemson win theirs?
2016,
Okay,
2015.
so yeah, we're closing in on
a couple though.
I know, but again, we're closing in on a decade.
Yeah.
And for all of the noise around Dabo, here's Dabo again in the college football playoff, but he has the national title to fall back on.
Yeah. You're not wrong there. I mean, I think it was. I was looking this up earlier. I think it was like 15 or 16. But look, there's also, it's not just one. You earn that respect when you have more than one.
Yep.
And look, Clemson is not a place that has the unrealistic expectations that Ohio State does, right? I mean, and that's the truth as well. Is that Clemson 2016 Dabo Swinney?
Yeah. So I mean,
and 2018. 2018.
Was it 2018?
Yeah.
God, COVID screws up so many dates
Yeah.
for me, man.
2018. That was the second one. 2016, 2018.
Point being, like the idea of like if you get one, the stamp that you get allows you to keep going for quite a long time.
Unless you're Ed Orgeron.
Which that was because they never won him around to begin with.
He only facilitated the best roster, and I will say, facilitated the best roster.
Indeed.
We may have
Ever seen.
Yeah. And but this is the thing. With Ryan Day, I still do think Ohio State's roster, top to bottom, and this has changed because the one spot that they were thin at, they lost 2 starters.
Center and
Top
left
to
tackle.
bottom, is the most talented in college football.
I lean towards Texas, but
And
Ohio State's right there.
losing those 2 games,
It did them in.
That is what Ohio State fan is mad about.
Yeah.
Like, no, this should be a roster that we look at like, that LSU one. You don't have Joe Burrow, you have Will Howard.
Oof.
Not a horrible quarterback, but not Joe Burrow. That's for damn sure. Everywhere else, they are loaded to the gills. But you lose the Remington Award winning center, you lose your left tackle for the year, and that is where you're not deep like you are everywhere else. And that's the incredible thing about Ohio State is they're deep everywhere. They're deep everywhere except for on the offensive line and at quarterback.
It's all very interesting, and what I'm pulling for chaos, and I am just a volunteer fan.
Agent of Chaos right here. Hand
weekend.
up.
I put on the burnt orange and sing Rocky Top, baby.
I don't think we're gonna get that. Do you see? It's supposed to be like 30 degrees.
Yeah, them boys ain't used to playing in that cold.
30 is like the high.
Yeah, it gets cold in Knoxville. It doesn't get,
It's supposed to snow on Friday too. So give me an inch of snow on Friday,
Is
and then
this
it never
Friday game or Saturday game?
Saturday.
Okay.
Give me an inch of snow on Friday, and then on Saturday it never gets cold enough or warm enough to melt,
out.
and we just got like some remnants. I'm all for it. It's supposed to snow in South Bend, Indiana on Friday,
Give me snow in the games.
where they got that game on Friday, Indiana versus Notre Dame. You've got snow on Friday and potential snow on Saturday for SMU Penn State in State College, Pennsylvania.
Poor SMU.
Snow on Friday, no snow Saturday for Ohio State, but it's going to be a night game, so it's going to be bitterly cold. And then Texas Clemson, 66 and sunny.
Yeah, and both those guys like the sun.
Yeah.
So it'll be
The
fun.
one outlier. This is
Yeah.
why I love home stadiums. It's perfect.
It's why if they were going to put Boise State in that bracket, I was begging for them to have a home game.
And I will say it's perfect until we get like a game in the Pacific Northwest where it's just like an atmospheric river and it's raining, because snow, awesome. Rain, we don't want to see rain.
But we saw 49ers Rams. We saw what the absolute downpour deluge
rain sucks.
show rain looks like.
Rain
It's not any fun.
sucks.
So, you know what else sucks?
What?
When a bear falls on you.
Oh, okay.
We'll get into more of that for here on our Worst Day on the Web. But first, it's the Big Kahuna, the Sports Center Update.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air, serving Portland, Southwest Washington, and the Gorge, online at aneheatingandcooling.com. It is hard to stop a train. First on the Fan, NBA Cup play finishes tonight with a championship game at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. 5:30 tip on ABC. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 5 o'clock. The Thunder are 5-point favorites. The Trailblazers remain off until Thursday. That's when they host the Nuggets. Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams III, they're both back on the court, but DeAndre Ayton expected to be a game-time decision. The Blazers 8-18 on the season. That's the third worst record in the West and sixth worst in the league for those keeping track. In the NFL, Lions edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson says he's aiming for a return for the Super Bowl in February, should Detroit make it that far. Hutchinson had October surgery to repair a fractured tibia and fibula. We've got our second bowl game of the season this evening. Number 25 Memphis and West Virginia from Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. It's the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. 6 o'clock kick on ESPN. And Oregon State men's basketball in action tonight, hosting Sacramento State. That's a 7 o'clock tip on ESPN+. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. Today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Today's worst day on the web. This is just one of those very dumb stories.
All right. Love these.
It's very sad, but very dumb.
Oh. Okay.
Incredible headline.
Uh-oh.
Father of 5 dies after a bear he was hunting fell on him from a tree.
Yeah, that is sad. Hold on. Did he shoot the bear in the tree and bear just fell on him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is like a Darwin Awards type
100%.
death right here.
So they were tracking the bear that they shot, and bear went up tree, which is hilarious. There's a photo that is used here in the article. It says a Virginia man was injured when a treed bear he and others were hunting. In the picture, in parentheses, says, not the bear shown.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a good qualifier.
It's like
this
a
is
stock
just
photo of bear.
This is our stock bear. This is not the real bear in question here.
I mean, would you want to put the real bear on there?
They used to do that in like newspapers and stuff. I watched that. You ever see the Zodiac 3-part documentary that's on Netflix right now? Boy, that's an adventure. But there was a lady who was like, I opened up the paper and, my best friend who I was supposed to go to the lake with, there she was, dead in front of the car. It's like, whoa, what? And sure enough, they showed the picture from the newspaper back then. Where it was like the car and then her body in front of the car. And it was like, that was in the Vallejo paper, apparently.
Like, I feel like that scene from, middle way through, 3/4 of the way through, Very Bad Things. You guys remember that movie?
Mm-mm.
I do. I don't know.
Twisted. Daniel Stern, Jeremy Piven.
Yeah.
Jeannie Triplehorn, Cam Diaz.
I don't remember that.
Oh, it's a dark
movie.
one. Danny, it is right up your alley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Look at him playing dumb. Like, I have no idea.
No, I
like,
don't.
this is where the documentary takes a turn, and it was like, this is where Jeff and Dusty both died.
Yeah.
Like, they'd seen the movie that he'd
Based on my
mimicked.
life, yeah.
He'd mimicked his killings after, and he tried to play dumb, and they called him on it.
Next
so
week-
I believe you never saw that movie.
Yeah. Next week they'll release the trailer for Very Bad Things 2.
Oh, there you go.
Featuring our deaths.
Yeah, perfect. The Darwin Award here, part of this, it takes an even darker turn when the son of the man who passed away, on his obituary, wrote to his father, give the bear hell up there.
Oh.
It's kind of like a...
So it's like, Dad, you and that bear are going to be up in heaven together and make sure you beat its ass again.
Uh-huh.
It's like, what?
But the bear got the bear got his lick back before he went out.
I don't know if they're going to the same place.
See, the thing is, you can see him like in his camo with his orange hunting vest and a big old chaw on his lip going, Dad, you better go up there and get that sumbitch.
I like this. I like the way he's saying, no, this fight ain't done. They're gonna have to settle this at the gates. They're gonna have to get this, and they're gonna go fisticuffs up there, and the winner gets in.
It's like we thought that bear from the Great Outdoors had something on him, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna be at the pearly gates, and old St. Peter's gonna be there. Like, all right, guys, you know how this goes. All right, winner takes all. Steel cage match.
Yeah, 2 men in, 1 man out.
Yep.
We only got room for one more.
Have you ever seen...
Don't think that's how it goes.
No.
Don't think that's how it goes.
Have you ever seen the photos of the guy of people in general who lived through bear attacks?
No.
There's a couple that are
There's
out
probably
there.
not many of them.
No, you're not wrong, but there's a couple of them out there. There's one, I want to say it was the New York Post that had it. It's like 2 years ago.
Because it was live streamed?
No, but
Like Bear Tack, you're not.
it was
That ain't
it was
going well for you.
On
it
that
was-
Faces of Death videotape series.
it's kind of like that, but like it was a grizzly bear that got this guy, and it
Oh,
turned his
God.
face into mincemeat. Like it looked fake.
Oh, the Reverend.
Yeah, but
Revenant.
Revenant.
Revenant,
Still
yes, there
haven't
you go.
seen that all the way through. I've seen it.
I mean,
Part,
it's, you
it's
know,
like 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
right?
It's long.
It's a long time of him trying to get away from a bar.
I don't know.
Hey, this may be controversial. I think all Leonardo DiCaprio movies could be 30 minutes shorter. Prove me wrong.
I cannot disagree.
Every single one.
I'll give you-
you
I'll-
could lop off a half hour.
What
Even
was-
Catch
I'll
You If You
give-
Can.
No, I was just saying that's the one I wouldn't.
No, you could do it.
Was that one?
You could do it.
Was that one also a Scorsese film? I don't remember.
I don't think
Because
so.
you could probably say that about Scorsese films as well.
Yeah.
As much as I love Martin
No,
Scorsese.
Scorsese and Christopher Nolan can both cut a half hour out of
I'll
everything
give
they do.
you. I'll give you 15 for Catch Me If You Can.
Okay.
I'll give you 15. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty good. But there were a couple of lulls where you're like, do we really need this? This really isn't setting it.
The really long phone calls.
Yeah, like hit me a little bit quicker with it. And it's a Leo
The
thing.
beginning of the movie, probably when it's like when he's younger with his parents, there's a lot of drag in that.
Yeah, like we didn't need to meet his mom.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Wasn't a big deal. She was gone.
No, just give me about Frank Sr.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Little Frank Abagnale Sr.
Dad was a con man, kid's a con man. Got it. Let's go.
Whoop. Keep it moving.
Yeah. All right.
Nothing too much there. But
Anyways,
yeah.
sorry.
No, this full on, just stupid things. So it says they reiterate multiple times in the article that the man was like 10 feet from the base of the tree. And I'm like, okay, so the bear must have been out on a limb like Winnie the Pooh in this thing? Which, why would you look like this is like, what's that stupid movie with Adam Sandler? Grown Ups, where they fire the bow and arrow straight up in the air and the last one to move and the arrow fault goes through David Spade's foot.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Spade?
No
No, it
idea.
was Rob
Schneider.
goes through Schneider's foot. But it's like, yeah, that's why you don't shoot up into the air. And that's why you don't
Yeah.
stand under things.
But yeah, what I imagine happened, they were tracking this bear. You're following the blood track, right? And you're going, okay, where's this thing at? You get to the tree. You're like, okay, track up tree. And then you're like, oh, no, here she comes. Now, if you shot it out of the tree, yeah, you get what you deserve on that one, right? You earned that one. But I'm feeling like they were just tracking it, and they're like, oh, we tracked to this tree. Look, like you're going up the trunk of it, and then you're like, uh-oh, boom, bear. Surprise attack, sneak attack.
It sounds like they already shot it and they were tracking the blood.
That's
Okay.
exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, I think you're saying like tracking it, like as in they were
No,
tracking prints.
I just said they're tracking the blood
Oh, okay.
to the tree. You look up tree. Oh, no, boom.
But
dead.
then it would just happen to fall like right then and there. It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think that's the bad luck of it all. That's why I say if you shot up at the tree and then it falls down, you asked for that one. Like, yeah,
He didn't die on the scene.
Well,
so they treated him for his injuries. I would imagine it's probably like
it's probably a big ass bear.
I mean, even if it's a black bear, you're probably 350, 400 pounds.
Yeah, and if that thing falls
Falling.
from 20 feet,
Oof.
yeah, you're gonna die.
Some spinal injuries, some
That
crushed organs,
sucks,
broken
dude.
bones, internal bleeding.
Dude, Hunter Bros, stay safe out there. That's gnarly. Dude,
That's-
so many guys that I know have had wicked hunting injuries. Like it's hard out there in the streets.
I still remember the one time I ever saw a bear out in the wild. I was driving it down a Highway 53 outside of Nehalem, and there was kind of a smallish black bear that just ran across the road right in front of me. It's the first time I've ever seen one out in the wild.
Really?
Yeah, crazy. I was like, oh my God, it's a bear.
Yeah, we got bears out here. We got bears in their trees.
I've seen a lot of bears.
See, but I've seen them at
Maybe
the
I'm
zoo.
putting myself in like bear situations a little bit too
probably.
often, but
I
There's
saw
like-
I saw a
there's a lot
grizzly
down
in
in-
northern Washington walking down like the outside of the freeway. That was creepy.
I think that would be creepy. There's not a lot of them up there.
No, I mean we're talking like by the border.
It's still not a lot up there. That's crazy.
Big old bear.
Yeah, they are very large.
Yeah.
There, we had a practice when I briefly was at the University of Montana Western. We had a practice during doubles delayed by an hour and a half because a family of grizzly bears decided that they were going to park it on our practice field. You know what's hard to get to move?
A family of
A
grizzly
family
bears.
of grizzly bears that have been pushed off of a hill due to a wildfire. They're like, we ain't got anywhere to go. This is where we're staying. So our practice was delayed.
We's gonna
Like,
hang
we
out
had-
right here.
We had like coaches out there with like air horns trying to scare them off, and they were just looking like, dude, F you. Like, the hill's on fire.
I can just picture the USC assistant coaches out there with their sprayers trying to get them ready for the rain in Oregon.
Right? Dude, kind of that same, like, "Ah," it's like, Harry, go away. It's like, guys, you literally can't go anywhere either because you can't go outside. It's like, oh. Because if they do move, you don't want to be there.
Yeah. And every time,
Boy, can they move fast. 35 miles an hour for a grizzly bear.
Yeah, dude.
wow.
Yeah.
Up to 800 pounds.
That's
That's the
hauling
only
ass.
time I've seen a grizzly bear, and I felt very comfortable being inside and not.
That's
Yeah.
faster than a horse.
I still lately too. I can't ever hear the word bear without hearing the voice of
Why don't we
Teeter
have
from Yellowstone in my head when they go to the carnival and whatnot, and she goes, "I want you to win me that effing bar,
Bar.
Bear.
I want that. I want that effing bar."
Why don't we have bear racing then?
Probably because they don't like it.
I mean, you want to kick it up a notch?
Well, and the possible deaths.
Spots. I mean, we get those in the horse,
horse racing
yeah.
too.
We throw people on pissed off bulls, then we freaking.
I just feel like that was a missed opportunity in the Wild West. You know, we did bear wrestling, but we weren't like, let's try to ride it.
Let's domesticate some bears.
Let's race them.
If Will Ferrell can bring it into a basketball game,
You get on your horse, your buddy comes like, hold on, we'll get my bear.
Man, bears are scary.
who's got a bear saddle?
I think we are more afraid of sharks than bears, and that's a miss. I think that's a miss. People are more terrified of sharks than bears. We've softened up bears, and we shouldn't have.
But they're
like
so
Yogi,
cuddly.
and then they
know?
rip your face off.
Yeah. I don't think the Ranger's gonna like this, Yogi.
Yeah. You know what? Doesn't matter. I'll rip that ranger's face off. That's
Tell
what
you what,
Yogi was going with.
There's a lot more stuffed bars out there than there are stuffed sharks.
Bingo.
I think it's probably because it's harder to stuff a shark.
No, he's talking like a teddy shark. No, it's a
Oh.
teddy bear. It's not
Yeah.
a teddy
Yeah,
shark.
a stuffy.
See, they look so cuddly, and
Yeah.
then they rip your face off.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Teddy Ruxpin was pretty creepy.
Teddy Ruxpin was.
Also very creepy.
Yeah.
All right, we got some news and some notes around the NBA All-Star Game. An official declaration has been made about what they're going to do, and will we care? Danny Dusty, Danny the Fan. The NBA has unveiled whether or not, or what they are. It's no longer whether or not they're going to change it. They're changing it. They are going to change the NBA All-Star format as released by Dave McMenamin of ESPN, I want to say about an hour ago now. It is going to be a new format. 24 selections divided evenly into 3 8-player teams where the 4th team is the Castrol Rising Stars champion. Womp womp. Honorary team general managers are Ernie, Candace, Shaq, Barkley. Barkley, O'Neal, and Smith will draft their rosters from a pool of 24 All-Star selection, and Candace Parker is going to be the GM of the Rising Stars champion. 2 teams will meet in one semifinal game. The remaining 2 teams will meet in the other semifinal game. Winning team from 1 and 2 advance to face each other in the championship game. Winner of each game is the first to reach or surpass 40 points. So it's a Elam ending game. I don't know, man. This all sounds
like the NBA is trying too hard at something.
Yeah, this one sounds maybe a little too much. And
if you have to take that long to describe the format, guess what? Just why can't we go back to just 2 teams playing each other?
And they asked Kevin Durant what he thought about it, and he doesn't like it.
No way. Yeah, I don't like it either. I think the NBA has an all-star game problem because guys just don't want to play hard against each other. They've tried everything they can to try and just throw any wrinkle into it. Money. That's how they'll do it.
It's interesting, but let's hear how irritated Kevin Durant is.
Is it like 4 different teams?
Yeah, 4 teams, 6 players each. I think they're drafted by like Kenny and Shaq and Chuck, and then it's like a tournament style first to 40 points.
I hate it. Absolutely hate it. It's terrible. All-Star game, formats changing, all the formats terrible in my opinion. And we should just go back to East-West and just play a game. I think we've been trying to, bring that flair back somehow with the All-Star weekend, but I think we just keep it traditional. But we'll see how this one works. You never know. I might be wrong. I'm just another guy with an opinion, but we'll see how it works.
Well, here's the thing, KD. It's because you guys aren't trying. That's why we're here.
Yeah, people don't want to watch 220 to 180.
And I even understand why modern NBA players are like, man, I'm supposed to be chilling. This is my break. It's because the schedule is compressed. There is too many games. And the thing is, they're never going to get rid of the games. They're not going to decrease games. It's too much. The inventory is just too valuable. So it's like you've got to find a way to make guys care a little bit more about it. If Kevin Durant and the others cared a little bit more about it, and I get all of the reasons why they wouldn't. Because you're just trying to chill. You're trying to preserve your body. You're trying to make sure you're not putting miles. You're trying not to get hurt. All those things. I get it. But the level of give a damn has to be higher.
Or you just don't sell it as the level of give a damn do what the NFL did, and you just don't even have the game at all. What the NBA needs to do is they just need to reframe the All-Star game as we're going to make dope-ass uniforms again that people are going to want to buy. We're not going to just do... They had so many cookie cutter try hard uniforms.
Oh God.
They were really bad. But go back to being colorful, the colors of the city, the San Antonio ones were awesome. You had just
Raptors,
red, white,
Hornets.
if you just red, white, and blue like they had in Chicago, do those.
I like the ones where you wear your jersey.
No, because that's what the NBA needs to stop doing, because that is like, hey, we are going to make this so guys will care and they're going to show pride and they're going to try. No, sell uniforms and entertain people. That's how they need to sell it. They're selling it as like a game that people should care about. Nobody should care about the game. They don't, because players don't care about the game.
And that's
so sell jerseys that are different and unique, and then go out and throw out whatever, but don't try to sell us that it's a competition that you want to watch, because that's what they've been trying to do. Is every change is like, no, this is going to be different. They're going to care more. They're going to try harder. They're not going to. They're not going to.
You literally had former players in the locker room last year go in there with Adam Silver and be like, guys, knock it the bleep off before the game. You have to go out there and give a damn. Like Larry Bird was cussing dudes out before the game.
Good.
Like, go out there and care, or else. This is the or else.
Yeah. Gosh.
Like, you don't want to be paraded around and be forced to give a damn? Well, too bad.
Yeah.
You didn't care.
Last year's game, I felt like that one was one of the most egregious. Yeah, the final score was 211 to 186.
Oh God.
That's caring. 184 to 175, 163 to 160, 170 to 150. Dude.
It's just gotten completely out of control.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we had high scoring games back in like the 80s and stuff, but we didn't see 200-point games.
No.
Like 116, 114, and 91. Chuck was the MVP.
There you go.
143, 134, and 89. Like, we had high-scoring games, but here's the thing is that we all knew when they turned it on. When did they turn it on? Fourth quarter. Closing time. We got intensity. They're trying to sell us that it's a game that people should care about. Nobody should care about it. Care about the fourth quarter. That's it. Dunk contest, they ruined that. I think that's a bigger thing.
Yeah.
They ruined the dunk contest. And that's like dunk contest, 3-point contest. That's what people should watch on All-Star Weekend, not the game itself outside of the fourth quarter.
Stop bringing G League guys into the dunk contest.
That is one way that they ruined it. The format did not need to be fixed.
No.
It didn't need to be fixed. Tell guys to hurry the hell up, or they're like, if you go past a certain amount of time, then you get graded down on your dunk. Sure, go ahead, and you're not going to win, right? But what they ruined the format of that, where now guys and people are saying, "Oh, all the best dunks have already been done before." Dude, watch these guys.
Yeah, look,
they can do it.
Guys are making free throw line dunks look simple now.
Yes,
you should see the stuff these guys do in practice.
Yeah, we need to.
I have seen Shaden.
They need to get stars to do it.
Shaden was going to be in the dunk contest last year before his injury. That was going to happen. I know what one of the dunks he was going to do in the dunk contest. I screamed when I saw it. Like, it was like, you're kidding.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's like, you just went, oh,
and
okay.
Having guys like Shaden Sharp in it is good, having a guy, but they need to have stars back in it too. And when LeBron
said no,
never did it, that's where nobody cool did it.
Who's the star that has to do it now? It's Ja, right?
Ja would be great if Zion was ever healthy.
I'm done with him.
He would be great.
Well, he's too fat to have that kind of lift anymore, isn't he?
No,
dude.
That's terrifying thing. Is he
the
still
thing.
got it?
He can do that.
He was doing it at 335.
Like
that's the insane thing.
Here's a good one from the old Vancouver Ford text line. NBA All-Star game, but with the court that has trampolines. So yeah, let's just make it slam ball.
Slam ball.
Slam ball.
It's John and John and Edwards. Like, those are the two.
Yeah. Could Shea do it?
No, he's not a
big enough name, but he could absolutely do it.
No, I mean Shaden, yes, but Shea
doesn't-
Gilgeous, he's not a dunk guy.
He's not.
I guess,
but
yeah,
he's
I
not
heard Shea, so I thought Shaden Sharp.
explosive enough.
No, Shaden would be a legitimate winner.
But those were the guys though but just like names in it, right?
Yeah, Ant and Ja in it would make it pack a punch. Like, Levine and Gordon weren't names, but they were otherworldly dunkers.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of guys that would be fun to watch in it.
We did Obi
went on a
already because
list.
Obi's got insane hops.
Yeah.
But I mean,
don't know.
it's a short list of guys like who are like truly transcendent, holy crap dunkers.
Yeah. Mobley in Cleveland, he's had a few good ones in game.
Yeah, but he's
I don't know how
more
explosive he'd be.
more tall guys. It's not. It's you kind of want like the
Our
6'4"
stars
to
aren't
6'7".
dunkers anymore.
No, they aren't slashers. That's which is why I've always like advocated for Ant to dunk more and Shaden to dunk more.
I would love to have Jokic lay it up.
Or Luka.
Yeah.
Lucas pushing
Yeah,
over the
there we
rim
go.
dunk the other
Let's
night.
let's get the layup contest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyrie would win that every year.
Yeah, he would.
It's
And like
not
Kyrie,
even,
in
not
his-
even a contest.
Well, I don't know,
Kyrie in
unless
his
he fell
prime
off the
could
edge of
do
the
it
planet.
though, like because he can get up, and the way that he can contort his body and his body control in his prime, he would have been a great guy to do it because people would have been like, "Oh, Kyrie Irving's in it," and then they go, "Oh, damn, he can do it."
Yeah, I mean,
We need more of those guys.
The guy that hit the running fall away left-handed hook shot to win a playoff game.
That's right.
Yeah, pretty good at the old layups.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
All right, so there you go. There's your update on the NBA All-Star game, of which I'm going to imagine people care even less about.
Yeah, I think we can care more.
We'll see.
All right.
Coming up next is hour number 3. It's Tuesday afternoon, which means it's time for 3 Up, 3 Down. 3 things we like, 3 things we didn't coming out of the NFL weekend that was here on Danny and Dusty, 10 The Fan.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, NBA Cup play finishes up this evening. The championship game at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's a 5:30 tip on ABC. Coverage over across the hall on 910 ESPN. Portland starts at 5 o'clock. The Thunder are 5-point favorites. The Trailblazers remain off until Thursday. That's when they host the Nuggets. Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams III, they're back on the court. DeAndre Ayton, though, expected to be a game-time decision. The Blazers are 8-18 on the season, the third worst record in the West and sixth worst in the league. Over on the Diamond, ESPN's Jeff Passan reporting that Cubs have traded Cody Bellinger to the Yankees. Chicago also sending cash to New York. Right-handed reliever Cody Poteet will head to the Cubs. In the NFL, Lions edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson says he's aiming for a return for the Super Bowl in February should Detroit make it that far. Hutchinson had October surgery to repair a fractured tibia and fibula. And we've got our second bowl game of the season this evening. Number 25 Memphis and West Virginia from Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. It's the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. 6 o'clock kick on ESPN. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Tired of getting dinged by subscriptions? We won't send you a bill. Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. This is Danny and Dusty.
What in God's name is going on in here? What was that ruckus?
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
What ruckus? I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app.
Did you describe the ruckus, sir?
And 1080.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
The Fan.
Hour number 3 here on Danny and Dusty on a Tuesday afternoon. Whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for hanging out with us on this wonderful Tuesday afternoon. It is Tuesday afternoon. It is 2 o'clock-ish, which means it's time for 3 Up, 3 Down, 3 things we like, 3 things we didn't, coming out of the NFL weekend that was.
Let's get it.
Hey-o. All right. Start with the ups. Start with the good news first. What do you got, Dusty?
All right. Well, my first up that I have from this past weekend is the Vikings are absolutely rolling right now. And this is the thing about the Minnesota Vikings that I'm so encouraged about, is that if you look at where they're at, Darnold has not turned into a pumpkin. Has he regressed and teams kind of caught up a little bit? Absolutely. But the wealth of weapons that they have around them with Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, they are going to be a menace, and they've been been afforded the ability to fly under the radar. At 12-2 right now, the number 1 overall seed isn't out of the question. In the final week of the year, Week 18, all eyes are going to be on that matchup with the Detroit Lions on January 1st. If we have that game determining the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, let's friggin' go. We could very easily be looking at a 14-15 win Minnesota Vikings in 2024, a team that was projected to finish last.
Which, when you think about it,
by some,
would make it even more physically painful for Vikings fans suffering another devastating playoff defeat.
Yeah, but that's usually the NFL for you, my man.
That's how it goes.
It could be the Bills.
Oof.
Could be the Bills.
All right, my first up, it's the Philadelphia Eagles telling everyone, and Jalen Hurts in particular, telling everyone to relax. Jalen Hurts, is this what you wanted to see?
What you want to see?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. We would like to see you win a game, Jalen, because you really haven't. It's been the Saquon Barkley show, and you've been questioned, and your leadership has been called out, and your relationship with your head coach and your offensive coordinator has been called out. Your wide receiver has called you out. Your pass rusher has called you out. Everyone has called you out.
Yep.
So show up and deliver, and you did. And the Eagles are now 12-2, and in that driver's seat for the NFC lead alongside the Vikings.
No doubt about it. They're playing really damn well. My second up is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker, touchdown maker. They've won 4 in a row. They are atop the NFC South, which that's not saying a whole heck of a lot. But they have a real opportunity to win the division, get to the playoffs, and more so than that, Mike Evans is back on pace, my dude. and this is what I love about Baker Mayfield. They went off against the Chargers. Halftime deficit, you're losing to the Chargers on the road. You end up with a 40-17 win. You rattle off 30 unanswered. At halftime, Mike Evans had 6 catches for 44 yards. The rest of that game, it was all Mike Evans. He finished the game with 159 yards, okay, on 9 catches, 2 touchdowns. Moreover, he's chasing the record books right now. Jerry Rice had 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Mike Evans can equal that this year. He had a hamstring injury, missed a couple of games this year. He entered that game with 590 yards entering the game against the Chargers. The 9 catches for 159 yards puts him back on pace for another 1,000-yard season for Mike Evans.
And we, when we were in D.C., we talked to the Bucs guys, and they told us flat out, Mike Evans ain't practicing basically for the rest of the season. He's a game-time guy right now. He's saving it for games because he is beat up. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can be that guy down the stretch because, I mean, the Bucs, they're a spicy little team if they get even mildly healthy. I don't think they're a team you want to play in the playoffs, are they?
No, they're not a Super Bowl contender, but
they can be a disruptor.
Yeah, we're ramping things up right now. Let's go.
My second up, Josh Allen's domination.
Oh.
Have you looked at the MVP odds?
I have not.
It's Travis Hunter. That's where we've reached. Minus 1,000 for Josh Allen to win the MVP. It's a wrap. It's done.
Well, I don't know about that. There's Lamar Jackson fatigue, but
he is at plus 800.
If Lamar puts on a clinic, and we know this with the NFL, so much recency bias. Think of this. If Josh Allen has a couple crater games,
he has to crater.
Yeah.
Crater.
It could happen.
Well, he did have one where he went, 9-27 this year.
But you do play the Patriots twice and the Jets once. I don't think it's going to happen.
Don't see that happen.
Don't see it.
It finally feels like the Josh Allen culmination season is upon us. Now, for that team and that organization, it's not that it doesn't matter. MVP is an MVP. You want to see your guy get one of those.
Yep.
But it's all about the playoffs for that team.
Yep. My third up is the Houston Texans. I called this right around the draft. This was going to be a regression year for Houston because of the fact that teams get a book on a guy like C.J. Stroud. And then they got Stephon Diggs, and I was like, well, maybe it's not going to be a regression year. This still is, considering the hype and what the expectations were around the Houston Texans. But this is why it's an up. In your regression year, you won the division. You're 9-5. You're going to be another 10-win team this year. All you need to do is get 1 win in your final 3 games. 2 of them are really tough games against the Chiefs and Ravens. But then you finish up against the Tennessee Titans. In this season, if you go and you say our regression year is winning a division and winning 10 games, that's a damn good regression year, a sophomore slump for C.J. Stroud. He has not looked great. He has not been perfect by any measure. But I think the struggles that this offense has had, and it's been more offensive line related, if this is going to be your dip in your downswing, watch out for the Houston Texans in the years to come, because it usually happens in the sophomore year.
I'm going to match you here a little bit with the same kind of energy. Are the Green Bay Packers the third best team in a division ever?
Ooh, we got to look at, there were some really damn good third place teams in the AFC North over the years where, it was like Cincinnati or Baltimore were third in the division. You're like, that's really damn good.
The reason I call
Smells
that out
of
is
that.
The 4 losses that the Green Bay Packers have this year in Brazil to the Eagles in an ugly game by 5 points. Taking on the Vikings by 2 points. The Lions at home by 10. That is the one loss where they got very clearly outplayed 24-14. Okay? They have their 4th loss was on the road to the Lions in the last minute. 34-31. So their 4 losses, 3 of them are 1-score games. They are right there.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty damn good. Also, by the way, their only losses are in division and to the Eagles.
Not bad, Bob.
That's a really good team. And, of course, they went into Seattle and absolutely dog-walked the Seahawks in a manner that you don't typically see in the NFL.
Nope.
So, my third up is the Packers. And do not, like, if I told you that they ended up in the NFC title game, would you be surprised?
No.
No.
I'd be, well, it just depends on how these injuries shake out, but yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised one bit. Not in the NFC, no doubt about
They're
it.
relatively healthy.
Yeah.
Jordan Love is obviously still just going to deal with a busted wheel probably till the offseason. But otherwise, Evan Williams not out for the season. You know, like most of what they've got is okay. Now you maybe worry about the offensive line a little bit, but if I told you this team was in the NFC title game, it's kind of like,
it would.
Now that I think about it, it's not really
stunning.
that much. No,
would not be stunning one bit. All right, heading to the downs. My first down. This one may take a minute. I have audio with my first down. Troy Aikman.
We've been watching Caleb Williams during the break. He told us he is healthy but fatigued. The kind of year that it's been, and he got that big hit. He was kind of laying down over on the bench for a moment, but able to sit right back up.
This is the time of year when college seasons are ending, so they are long years. And when you're having the year that they're having, they're that much longer. You know, what you worry about, Joe, for a young quarterback, and I went through it. I was 0-11 as a starter, and you know, he's had a much better rookie season than I had. Here's another look at the end of that. The hit that he took, and when you mentioned we were watching him on the sidelines, you know, he was grimacing in an enormous amount of pain. And as I watch him, you know, you can tell that he's a defeated guy. I mentioned that he hasn't been through anything like this at any point in his career, and what you worry about is a rookie quarterback losing confidence.
Yeah, it's been tough to watch Caleb Williams. They have lost 8 games in a row. They're 0-8. Since the moment that the dude celebrated the Hail Mary prematurely against Washington. Think of how different that season looks if they win that game and the sliding doors effect of all of that, because the Bears...
Was it 21 straight road losses?
They are 4-10. They were 4-2 at that time. They were 4-2 at that time. And since then, it has been bad football.
They've invented ways to lose games.
They're worse than they were with Justin Fields, record-wise. Wrap your head around that.
It's
bad.
It's toxic throughout the entire organization.
Things will get better when you get a new coach. That's what the Bears say to themselves every time they fire a coach.
Well, let's see if they can get one right. My first down, that's all, folks. 49ers are cooked.
Done.
Pretending like that was anything else that was going to happen otherwise was insane.
Can still win the division.
Oh, my God. Stop. Stop. Those 49ers fans, you're as delirious as Cowboys fans right now. Stop. You're bad.
Yeah,
you're injured.
good.
You're just let it go.
He's bad.
Let it go. It's a gap year. You should have let go of the rope sooner. I understand, like, you only have so much in a window, but you've got to let it go. What's going to be interesting?
It's a gap year. Go backpack around Europe.
Yes, 100%. What's going to be interesting, though, is what does this do for Brock Purdy's contract talks?
Yeah.
Because you saw Brock Purdy without all the weapons, and he not only looked mediocre, he looked less than.
Yep.
And it might be a thing that ends up being a saving grace for the 49ers, where Purdy ends up being their quarterback going forward, but not the number that he probably was looking at.
No doubt about it. All right, my second down. People are actually having the conversation. Do you bench Kirk Cousins in Atlanta?
Yes.
5 straight games posting a quarterback rating under 80 for Kirkers. And he finally threw a touchdown pass. That was good to see. Huh? Kirk Cousins throwing a touchdown pass. Here's the thing, though. Do you bench a quarterback when you are in contention to win your division? Because the option and the alternative is turning into Michael Penix Jr., who hasn't played this year. You used a top 10 pick on him in the NFL draft this past spring. And everybody was like, whoa, that's a shocker. A bit of a surprise. At 7-7, they're only a game back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for that NFC South crown. But the conversation now is the rookie quarterback who's never started a game a better option than Kirk Cousins? And look, Kirk has not been good, but at the same time, you can still win a division. That's a really tough locker room to win over. But here are the remaining games. Against the Giants this week, at Washington for the Commanders, and then against the Carolina Panthers. Here's the other thing. 2 of the losses for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year are against the Atlanta Falcons. So if they finish with the same record as Tampa, they will win the division. You got 2 very winnable games. Is this the week that you throw out Michael Penix Jr. against the New York Giants and just see what you got? Because that's a team that's on their 4th quarterback, and they look like they have absolutely quit.
They couldn't cover 16.5 points.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
This might be a week that Raheem Morris goes, yeah, we're going to go with the Rook. I don't see it happening, but my goodness.
They probably should. Speaking of my goodness, my second down, good God, Raiders. We knew you were bad.
Yeah.
But what the hell?
Yeah.
That game last night, speaking of the Falcons, was a sham mockery.
Yeah.
Travesty of the highest order.
Yeah.
I believe it's a Travis Sham mockery.
Travis Sham mockery.
Yeah.
I mean, just ineptitude of coaching to a magnitude that I can't truly fathom.
It's really bad.
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, there's like they're showing it right now.
Oh, there we go.
They're showing though, like same boat. Gerard Mayo may get fired in New England as well this year. There was a bit where they had Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft in the box. You could clearly see what Jonathan Kraft was saying is like, play calling has been horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Both those teams look ill prepared. They don't look like they want to be out there, and they rolled over this week.
Look, neither team has talent. We know that.
Yeah.
But there's just a level of competency that you have to get to.
Yep, and it ain't there. My third and final down is, this is crazy. The Kansas City Chiefs, by the statistical markers, are the worst 13-1 team in NFL history. Isn't that crazy? Back-to-back Super Bowl champs. They are 13-1. They are winning. And like, this is why I'm never going to be out on them. But you now have Patrick Mahomes dealing with a high ankle sprain. They're saying it's mild. I think we're going to see him. I think he's going to play. Their point differential right now is 11th in the National Football League. They are 13-1. And teams that have a better point differential, the 8-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 9-5 Commanders, 9-5 Ravens, 9-5 Broncos. They have better point differentials than them. This is the craziest thing. Their point differential of -70 is the only one under 100 for a 13-1 team in NFL history.
And this is what we talk about, human sacrifice.
Well, so but with Mahomes, though, and that mild high ankle sprain, and them playing on Saturday before they play again next Wednesday, do they sit him?
It sounds like they're going
the
to.
Texans this week.
I think you
before
sit him
they
on
play
Saturday
Christmas
and you play
at
him
the
on
Steelers.
You sit him on Saturday, play him on Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, that
and
seems
then
like the
you
right
let it
thing to
roll.
do.
You let it roll from there, but at the same time, like, they can afford a loss because they have a 2-game lead on anybody else for the number 1 seed in the AFC. It's incredible. That's why I'm not giving up on them. They're 13-1.
Yeah,
That's the only thing.
they find a way. The opposite of finding a way. The Seattle Seahawks, my last down. You found a way to give the division away. In a world where you could have walked away with this division, you could have just absolutely walked away with it. You have found a way to not do that at seemingly every opportunity. Now, again, much like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're not Super Bowl favorites, but they could have been a spunky little disruptor.
Yep.
Now they're at the point where, their playoff lives, they're still there because the NFC is crap, but they're in a world where they don't control anything anymore. And it's like, I don't understand why in those moments that this organization has fallen so short so regularly since their Super Bowl run. It's just they just continue to find themselves there when they have those chances and they fall on their face.
Brutal, dude.
Womp, 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 womp. All right, coming up next, we got to find a way to work this in. Adam Schefter doesn't just drop news. He drops bodies and breaks souls. We'll get to that here coming up on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
Hello.
We talked about this for a moment yesterday. The idea of Sacramento State moving on up from the FCS to the FBS, going after Mike Vick as head coach. That news was broken in part by Adam Schefter of ESPN.
Yes.
Well, Doug Gottlieb, the radio host and college basketball coach at Green Bay, which weird.
Yeah, University of Green Bay, Wisconsin. One of those coaches that had no previous coaching experience was hired to a job that everybody went, this isn't going to work out.
It's not.
Going swimmingly.
So Gottlieb quote tweeted the Schefter tweet. Says, Jesus, Shefty, edit what agents tell you. 0.0% chance Sac State has $50 million in NIL.
Oh, no.
Well, Adam Schefter had time. He replied with, the Sac-12 leading the school's NIL efforts already announced that it's reached its initial goal of raising $50 million in NIL funds to strengthen the school's case for the invitation to the Pac-12 or Mountain West Conference. And Jesus, Doug, a 7-game losing streak in last place in the Horizon League? Less time on social media, more time in the gym.
You're a loser.
Whoa.
Damn.
I love that. Sac-12, by the way, fantastic name for your collective that is raising money. Yeah, they have raised $50 million. It's not like $50 million per year. This is like a fundraising effort to keep up with the Joneses and basically create a war chest that you can fight with. And Schefter coming back at Doug Gottlieb in that way, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. And yeah, they are dead last in the Horizon League. They're 2-10 on the year, 7-game losing streak. They are following the juggernauts, though, of Robert Morris, IUPUI, and Oakland, along with Detroit Mercy, all have the advantage over Doug Gottlieb's University of Wisconsin Green Bay. That is a body bag of epic proportions. You don't see that from Schefter very often. But you attack that man's credibility, he'll find 5 minutes to look up your record.
He found a way. Yeah. Look, he's got time. He's on that phone quite a bit. Little bit of trivia. You know who is likely the most famous person to go to Sac State?
No.
Tom Hanks.
What?
Tom Hanks.
Wow.
Is a Sac State
I don't think that's a likely.
alumni.
That he'd be like the most famous person to go to almost any college.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely up there. I mean for the other famous alumni, or let's see who else is listed here.
Taylor Swift didn't go to college.
Ryan Coogler, the director of Creed and Black Panther.
Yeah. Not even
famous.
close.
There you go. Creed Bratton from The Office.
Yeah, Creed.
Brian Posehn, the comedian.
He's funny. I like him.
I don't know who that is.
He's a big, awkward-looking dude. If you saw his face, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, I know who that is."
Lester Holt.
What is that? Posehn, P-O-S.
Oh,
yeah. News?
I know. Yeah, I know Brian Posehn. He's what was it? Spin City? Was that what he was in?
Sure, something like that.
Or he
Yeah.
was
He's been in a lot of stuff. He's he's some dude in a lot of things.
Just Shoot Me. Yeah. All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
A bunch of politicians too.
Yeah.
Like
all right.
a lot of politicians.
Well, yeah, you're in the state capital.
Kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to think like who's the big donor.
Yeah,
there?
I don't know if it's Tom Hanks, but Tom Hanks is a pretty good celebrity to have backing you.
Another notable alumni was Anthony Sadler. You won't know the name, but he is one of the soldiers that disrupted the terrorist attack on the train in France.
Oh, all right.
So there you go. Big Sac State alumni.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think but think about this though. Most famous people in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift didn't go to college.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, he'd be up there.
Yeah.
Didn't go to college.
Yeah.
Messi, nope.
Like,
think of like the most famous people that you can think of. Like Michael Jordan, he went to North Carolina.
Sure.
That he probably beats Tom Hanks, but that's a close fight. Like globally, the most famous people in the world.
A lot of the social media folks, that like the Zucks of the world, I don't think they finished school until later.
I don't think Zuck ever did. He dropped out of Harvard.
Yeah,
I was gonna say but he was like at Harvard.
Yeah, but again, like a lot of those VC startup guys, a lot of them were like dropouts.
Yeah,
Right?
so I'm just like Mark Zuckerberg.
There you go.
I didn't finish college the first time around either.
Where did Elon Musk go?
I don't know.
He went to college.
Apartheid U.
Penn.
Yeah, I think he was a Penn or Brown. Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Penn. So like, he's pretty famous.
Decent.
But Tom Hanks, I'm still going to put Tom Hanks over.
Sac State.
Like if you think of like college alums, like Sac State, That's a good one.
That's
You're
a
not
good
going to
one.
find very many colleges that have more famous alumni.
I mean, Ian
So did I
Carmel.
have a milkshake or something?
Ian Carmel at Portland State.
That's right.
That's a deep one.
Ian Carmel and yours truly.
Oh, there you go.
Ty Burrell.
That's where I finally graduated.
Ty Burrell, Southern Oregon University.
Oh, babe. There you go. It's the simple things.
Yeah.
You love to see it. All right, coming up next. You've wanted to talk about this for a little bit. Is there a changing in the tide at the very top of the potential 2025 NBA draft order? We'll get to that and more. But first, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
I hear they got some tasty burgers.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by PG Long Floor Covering, carpet, hardwood, or laminate, flooring, cleaning, or restoration. Call PG Long, your Northwest flooring experts, pglongllc.com. First on The Fan, NBA Cup play finishes tonight with the championship game at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. It is a 5:30 tip on ABC. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 5 o'clock. The Thunder are now 6-point favorites. The Trailblazers remain off until Thursday. That's when they host the Nuggets. Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams III, they are back on the court, but DeAndre Ayton expected to be a game-time decision. Blazers 8-18 on the season, third worst in the West and sixth worst in the league. ESPN's Jeff Passan reporting the Cubs. They traded Cody Bellinger to the Yankees. Chicago also sending cash to New York. Right-handed reliever Cody Poteet will head to the Cubs. In the NFL, Lions edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson says he's aiming for a return for the Super Bowl in February. Should Detroit make it that far, Hutchinson had October surgery to repair a fractured tibia and fibula. We've got our second bowl game of the season this evening. Number 25 Memphis and West Virginia from Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. It's the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. 6 o'clock kick on ESPN, and Oregon State men's basketball in action tonight. They're hosting Sacramento State. 7 o'clock tip on ESPN+. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new long sleeve tee and hoodies in your favorite college colors. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
Well, the NBA draft is still, give or take, 6.5 months away. Thoughts, views, and opinions on the top of that draft are starting to take hold. The number one recruit in the class, Cooper Flagg at Duke University, is living up to all of the expectations.
He's been really damn good.
He is currently leading Duke in points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, literally everything. He has been that good. The very impressive thing that he has done is that his highest scoring, his highest output, his most efficient nights have come against the number 19 Kentucky Wildcats, the number 17 Arizona Wildcats, the number 1 Kansas, and number 2 Auburn. He has shown up at 17 years old and delivered on all of the very lofty expectations this season. He is currently leading again Duke in all of the counting stats. 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks.
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
But Dylan Harper is really damn good at Rutgers.
Rutgers currently not the level of prestige at 7-4, but him and Ace Bailey, the true freshman, the number 2 and number 3 recruits in this class, who both committed to Rutgers at roughly around the same time, are carrying all of the burden all the way. Dylan Harper is currently leading all freshmen in scoring at just under 24 a game, 23.5, 4.8 rebounds, 4.4 assists, so basically 24, 5, and 4 for a Rutgers team shooting 52, 36, 76. Dylan Harper, for me, was ahead of Ace Bailey on my board. There is just something about him on the mental aptitude side, the feel, the son of Ron Harper, you know, the generational stuff that it tends to impart to guys more often than not. Like, even though Jabari Walker is going to be kind of an end of a rotation player, he has known that from the jump. There was no illusions of grandeur. He knew he was going to be a role player, and so he conditioned himself to be a role player. Dylan Harper is conditioning himself to be the best version of himself, but understanding what he needs to do, how he needs to do it, and where he can go. He is not the most explosive athlete you ever see, but I was talking to a GM that was in town playing the Blazers, I want to say 3 weeks ago, talking about Harper. He had just gone to Las Vegas and seen him. And he said something very interesting to me. He knows how much I love Brandon Roy. And he asked if I thought he reminded me of Brandon Roy. And I said, yes, he does. It's like he does the least amount possible to get the most done. It's not hezzy, tween, step here, step there. It's the least amount of effort required. It's an economy of motion, right? And that shows mastery at a very young age. Now, Harper, again, he's not John Morant or Russell Westbrook with his athleticism, but when he needs to turn it on, he can get by anybody. And there's this discussion now, could Dylan Harper be the number 1 overall pick? As it stands right now, there are 3 players that could be the number 1 overall pick. It's Cooper Flagg, and I would put most GMs, like if you're doing the circles, the concentric circles of like who guys have, the straw poll would have Cooper Flagg number 1. Number 2 would be Dylan Harper among most. Ace Bailey still has his supporters because he's 6'10" with a ratchet. Like the guy can. The criticism of him is that he takes difficult shots, but you know what he does, Dusty? He hits difficult shots.
Yeah.
And there's something about that. Now, you know, which it's very much eye of the beholder type stuff. But this past draft class, 2024, we all talked about how it's not good. It's living up to it being not good. This
it really
2025 class,
Steph Castle is probably your rookie of the year right now.
Yeah, because Jared McCain's likely done for the season. I mean, Dalton Connect's been fine.
Yeah.
Reed Shepherd doesn't really play. Zach Edey has been in and out with injury, and he's been ups and downs. It's going to be, honestly, pretty difficult to pick the rookie of the year. But this next class looks truly special. We haven't even mentioned Kasparas Yakashionis, who's at Illinois, who looks incredible. Looks like a pocket-sized Luka Doncic. 6'4", built like a truck, strong as hell, gets to the free throw line like you wouldn't believe. But it's nice to have the narrative. It's not that Cooper Flagg hasn't been great. He's been tremendous. It's that Dylan Harper has elevated up to that point.
In that, when you hit the game winner in the way that he did over the weekend, that's like where you go, oh, okay, that's big time. It's a big time shot, big time moments. And like Cooper Flagg, I think for a lot of the casual basketball fans, they opened up their eyes to him watching the Kentucky game. And he was 2 turnovers in the final 2 minutes. That kind of was that lasting impression where I think the only thing that a lot of people have seen of Dylan Harper is averaging 24 points a game.
Getting buckets.
And absolutely burying one at the buzzer to beat Seton Hall.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, as impressive as Dylan Harper has been, Duke has played number 19, number 17, number 1, and number 2.
Yeah.
In 10 games.
And Dylan Harper shot 30% against a top 20 team in Texas A&M.
And
toughest game of the year so far.
Well, no, they had Alabama before that, where he did have 37 points.
Oh, yeah.
That is his best performance of the year is 11 of 19. Got to the free throw line 16 times.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing. Like he's gotten to line double digits twice this season. He's gotten to line more than 5 times. What's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times. So he's been very efficient about getting to the line, which is one of those traits that kind of pushes forward. But I have talked to multiple people in the NBA about best player available and what should Portland do if they get there and they get the number 2 overall pick. Cooper Flagg is off the board. Would you take Dylan Harper if Dylan Harper is indeed the best prospect?
Yes.
Knowing you have Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe.
Yes. Take the best player. They're not in a position to take anybody at this point and pick and choose. No, you take the best damn player.
Yes. And that is there will be people here, if that happens, that will go, oh my God, another guard. Well, what about Scoot? What about, it's like, it doesn't matter because you still haven't found the guy.
No.
And if you think Dylan Harper can be the guy, you take Dylan Harper. If you think Ace Bailey is a better prospect, if you think he's a better prospect, take him. But don't just take him because he's 6'10".
Yeah.
Like this.
My thing is don't take the wrong guy.
Look, in the last
you know what you should do? Take that guy that leads you to a championship. I don't know why more teams don't do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Why didn't people take Giannis?
It's like in football. Why don't you just call the touchdown play every time?
Yeah. Come on. What are we doing here?
Did you see the Rachel Nichols interview with Giannis?
No.
Nichols brought up that Dirk Nowitzki was in the draft room with the Mavericks when the Mavericks were picking, and Dirk told Cuban to not take him because he's too skinny. And Dirk said, "Yeah, I'm a terrible GM. I would
end up wrong on that.
Yeah, would not have taken him." And Giannis kind of laughed. He's like, "Look, I appreciate him because it got me to the spot where I won an MVP and won a title, and I've kind of been like him because he opened the door for European players to play the game that they want to play."
Yeah, their style, their way. Yeah.
So, but as it pertains to the draft, we're getting to prove it season because you're getting to the point where this is what I said with Donovan Clingan. Right now, the Blazers they're 8-18. Okay, 4 more games they've played 30 games. You know how many games Duke has played at this point?
No,
10.
Oh,
10.
That seems off.
But that's the college basketball schedule. You only play like 2 a week.
That's crazy.
If that. And so this is now when we get into prove it season, which is the ugly part of the season, which is the conference play, where it gets difficult night in, night out. And in the ACC, it's tough.
It's going to be a grind.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this looks. And I would encourage folks, coming up here in February, I believe it's February. Yeah, February. If you are a Ducks basketball fan and you want to see Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper play,
Rutgers.
Get down to Oregon Rutgers in February. I'll be down there along with about 4,000 scouts.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. That would be February 16th.
16th. It's during All-Star Weekend, I believe. That's why I can actually go down there for that.
All right.
But it's heating up.
It is.
It's
going to be fun. It'll be interesting to see how this conversation changes. I wanted to check in on it, though, because right now it's just been Cooper Flagg, Cooper Flagg, Cooper Flagg. Now you're starting to see legitimate buzz over Dylan Harper, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see how this conversation evolves. And I think it's good to have these conversations throughout the course of the year so people aren't just sitting there when it comes draft lottery time going, well, I thought if you don't win the lottery, you're screwed. Well, no, Dylan Harper's really damn good.
Yep.
Ace Bailey is really damn good, too.
And there might be some other guys that pop their way up here, whether it's Yegor Demon at BYU, Yakis Jonas at Illinois. It's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out.
All right.
I will say there's probably 9 players in this draft that I would take before anyone number 1 in last year's draft.
Dang.
So, all right, coming up next, we'll put a nice little bow on today's show. You going to watch some Cup basketball tonight? Danny and Dusty, today fan.
It's time for a Blazers report on the Fan. The inside story on the Portland Trailblazers. Brought to you by Aztec Willie's Taqueria.
Reports coming out of practice at today's media availability for the Portland Trailblazers say DeAndre Ayton is going to be available to make his return after missing the last 2 games with an illness. The Portland Trailblazers are healthy, ladies and gentlemen. The only other player that is currently on the injury report is Matisse Thybulle, who's still dealing with that high ankle sprain on his right ankle. The Trailblazers will take on the Denver Nuggets Thursday. Again, only NBA Cup basketball night, then a day off before regular basketball resumes around the league. They will then take on the Dallas Mavericks And you will have the Portland Trailblazers at 28 games of their first 30 where they had the most difficult stretch of the season. Very likely they're going to end that stretch with less than 10 wins. This Trailblazers Report on the Fan is brought to you by Aztec Willie's Taqueria, the best place to go before and after games or any event. Check them out on the corner of Southeast 15th and Broadway or at AztecWillies.com.
Aztec Willie's Taqueria has been Portland.
I don't wanna be your dad.
It's NBA Cup championship time. It's banner raising time.
Woo!
Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the
That is so brutal.
Milwaukee Bucks. Hey, the Thunder have a chance to raise their first banner.
I hope Milwaukee wins for that reason.
Oh.
That can't be the first way you do it.
That would be great.
This will be disgusting.
It's
to be forced to do it, and the people of Oklahoma to be like, "We won something." It's like, no, you didn't. You won the NBA Cup.
Is this akin to like raising a banner into the rafters for like Western Conference champions or
No.
or
This is like
Northwest
the
Division
division
champions?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, which Portland's been very proud of.
Yeah,
because we like for the longest time we're like, won the division. It's like,
trust me, I pulled that out of that pocket for a reason.
Yeah, they retire they retired too many jerseys and they put up too many banners.
Yeah.
Conference finals, going to the NBA finals.
Sure.
Like conference finals winners, those are fine.
Win a conference championship, post it.
That's one you can hang.
Yeah.
Below that,
yeah.
Miss me.
No, that's
miss me with that.
That's brutal. That's like the Colts, which had AFC championship participant banner up. No, you can't do that.
No, you can't make it to the title game. You
can't
no.
do that.
No.
You can't have
Western
that
Conference
up there.
champion.
bingo.
Fine.
Bingo.
They
bongo.
literally hung a participation trophy.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, participation banner.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be awful. But should be a great game that people are watching.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a solo standalone game in Las Vegas. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of crowd shows up because neither Oklahoma City nor Milwaukee close to Las Vegas. Also, speaking of participation,
The drunks will be there.
Yeah, Chris Middleton not participating.
No, I will be at home.
Oh. Oof.
Well played.
That's tough.
Well played. Okay, here's the question. Will more people watch the NBA Cup on ABC or the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl? Memphis, West Virginia.
I might have to go rewatch the Yacht Rock doc, to be honest with you.
Cup.
It's
Cup
on
Bowl.
ABC.
It's on ABC.
It's on ABC.
And it has two teams with two sets of stars that have power.
It should not be close.
No.
It should not be close.
No. On network TV, it should garner a pretty hefty, especially as a standalone with nothing else going on tonight.
Ooh, or
I wonder what people like if you pull it, what the answer would be, because the NBA, they've lost the steam.
I bet you
They've
that
lost the steam
it has 10 million plus.
10 million?
Yeah. I bet you
I
it
don't
does.
think we're
There's
getting 10.
nothing else on tonight. There's nothing else on.
The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl.
Yeah, and
If it was on ESPN, no. But the fact that it's on ABC, I think it pulls a pretty hefty rating.
which brings me back to what I was telling you guys about earlier. Go check out on Netflix the Kings of Tupelo docuseries. It's only 3 episodes, and it is something else. Just close your eyes and picture Danny McBride while you hear this dude talk, and yeah, it's a whole thing.
Now, I bet you it pulls a pretty substantial number. There's just
The
nothing
NBA
else
better
on it.
hope it does.
If it doesn't, boy.
Yeah,
And look,
and that'll be an indictment of the NBA's overall ratings
yes.
this year. Because if you can't get people to watch this game tonight,
With 2 very good teams with this many good stars.
2 very good teams, but it's Milwaukee and Oklahoma City.
But that's the thing.
And
is
they
it-
always
it
say you need to
shouldn't
have Los
matter.
Angeles and
No.
New York and
No, because nobody was watching when the Knicks sucked, and nobody watches when the Clippers play.
no. What number did it pull over the weekend? The
I don't-
semifinals.
I don't know.
Because that will be an interesting one too. Because
See,
nothing
this
was
might
going
get-
really on that weekend either. You know.
Looks like it pulled
outside of Army Navy.
3 million, but it was on ESPN.
All right.
So
we'll see.
yeah, we'll see.
All right, I'll go. I'm not gonna run the poll. I was gonna say I was. I'm not gonna do that.
Nah.
That ain't gonna happen. We all know that.
It happens.
The show's done in a minute,
There you go.
which means my work is done. All right, coming up next, you got 4 hours of power from his mouth to your ears. It's prime time with Isaac and Suk, without Suk.
Sans Suk.
No, it is Suk's birthday today.
No.
Wow. Isaac will tell you all of
Happy
the
birthday,
gifts
big fella.
that he got when Jason Sukanik.
He's probably
today.
naked somewhere.
All right. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday from noon to 3 right here on The Fan.
Bye.
U.S. Seaman.
Oregon Ducks football is on The Fan.